I wish that to all of us, including to myself. And thank you, and hope to see you on the next webinars. Bye bye.
My name is Solomon Echo, and I'm the founder at Rethink Media. We are a marketing tech company based in Bonn, Germany. If you can hear me clearly, I would want to use the opportunity to proceed with my presentation. But before I go into the presentation proper, I would want to say that many people have heard about AI, and sometimes when you hear AI, the first thing that comes to your mind is a sci-fi, robot, or a a plastic-like machine that can help you do some difficult tasks, you know, and we usually see some of this in movies and action thrillers. However, recently, the word became, a buzz and was everywhere, online because of the introduction of Chat GPT. But before then, if you ask an average business owner or a marketer, they would probably tell you they don't know what AI is, and that's because it was mainly not mainstream. But now it is more or less mainstream. Almost every industry is taking advantage of AI. And what is AI? AI is simply artificial intelligence. You could as well say it is some fake intelligence if we want to use another synonym. It just means it is intelligence produced by non-human, or intelligence produced by an object, and or machines. Let's put it that way. And it works basically to help us create solutions that saves us time, energy, and effort. So that's basically what this means and what AI does in simple terms. But how does it apply to businesses, and more specifically, how does it apply to marketing? I'm not going to bore you with so much industry jargons, because I know some of us in the audience would probably be business owners and entrepreneurs, or maybe some marketers are amongst the member of the audience. So I will try to make sure I don't use lingo or jargons that would confuse you. I will try to keep it as simple and straightforward. The goal here is to help you get to understand what AI is and the kind of tools that can help you improve your marketing, as a business owner. That's the goal. So how do you get AI to support you in your marketing to get more customers, and the end goal to increase your profits and revenue? That's basically what this is about. So going into the next stage, we are going to look at some certain marketing AI tools that we use here at Rethink Media, and that customers we work with also use, and we've also recommended some to them because we like them for several reasons. So that's part of what this presentation is also going to be covering. So prior to ChatGPT, we used to have a lot of online tools, online platforms that enable marketing, you know. But introduction of AI made it even smarter, and more efficient, more effective. Take for instance, in the past, if you were to create a marketing content, you would be able to do it with a tool that gives you the possibility to create, the ad creative, and then maybe create the copy, but now the difference with the introduction of AI is that you can now customize that ad copy and the ad creative to really speak to your audience without doing so much research. So it helps you with personalization and customization. So it means you can now, without so much stress, without so much effort, get to have insight based on data on what your customer would want, without so much research or so much inquiry. That's basically the game changer of the power of AI in modern marketing. It helps you get your business done smarter, so you don't get to do so much of the hard work. So that's part of the reason why the introduction of AI to marketing has sort of enabled businesses to work smarter. So you get to do work that would have taken you more time to accomplish in lesser time, and of course the output is better. So that's just one example with customization or personalization, where you get to have insights about your customers, or about what they, it could be, for instance, what they like to buy from you. If you have a store, it could be recommendation. Based on this, you can now create recommendations to really fit their desires. So this is what AI has enabled business owners post chat GPT. So I would go to the next slide to dive a bit more into what AI tools can help you do in terms of streamlining operations, improving customer engagement, and driving sales growth. So the first thing we'd look at is, how does a business function? Let's assume you're a typical business owner. I would want to assume that the first thing you would think about is, you know, you want to um, have your operations in place, and then within your operations setup, you want to think about, how you create your marketing in such a way that enables you generate leads, and of course make profits. So and within all of that, you also want to ensure that you want to keep your customers consistent, and you keep them coming, which means you keep them coming back, or you keep them um, you know engaged with you for a long time whilst they become customer. But before you can make all of that possible, you have to create a seamless process. um, but if you don't know how to go about it, it becomes very, very stressful, because they're also depending on the kind of business and the size of business. But we'll just limit it to SMEs for now, because that's our targets, for helping with with AI, leveraging their businesses with AI. So if you are an SME owner, you would perhaps have a routine task of wanting to um, create, say, campaigns for different channels of marketing. um, let's assume, for instance, you have a an 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 e-commerce store, for instance, say you sell shoes, you know, for you to be able to get customers, you have to plan your your channel of your marketing channel. You may decide you want to reach out to your customers on social media, since social media is a popular option. You may decide you want to go to reach out to them through emails. You also decide you want to reach out to them through SMS, you know, and you may decide to want to reach out to them organically through content marketing, creating educational and info materials that you have to post on your blog and all of that. But all of this can be daunting because um, if you want to think about the process, you have to create these different social media channels. You have to set up a blog. You have to set up email channel. It becomes very daunting, especially if you don't want to have a marketing team. Let's assume you are a solopreneur, or perhaps you only have one person assisting you with marketing. It becomes very strenuous, and these are tasks that you do on a repeated basis. So one thing AI is good at is that it's good at helping you do repeated tasks. A task that is repeated, you don't have to do it over and over again. It can help you take care of it, you know. And whilst it's doing that, it does it at a more at a double speed or triple speed, compared to how you would do it, if you were to do it yourself. And then it does it in a very efficient manner, you know. So that's what AI does. Looking at all of these channels I've mentioned, talking about social media, blog, emails, SMS, it can help you streamline the process so that you don't have to do it every day. If you do it every day, you can just set it up, automate it, and it runs by itself. The good part is it also would give you feedback depending on how you set it up. Can give you insight on people who have signed up, for instance, on social media. Can give you insight if it's email, those who have opened your email. Can give you insight on those who haven't clicked. If you are running, if you want them to buy, you're running a campaign for them to buy maybe your product. So it also gives you feedback. Without you lifting your finger. So that's what it does. It then frees up time that you can get to focus on, the more strategic work in your business. So the advantage of this is that, of course, it helps you drive, sales. Your business can grow faster, and you can now think of how to engage your customers even better to increase customer satisfaction, because now you've been able to automate all of those manual things. Now you can now create more personalized experience, where you can um, sort of give them that experience that they feel very satisfied from the time they get to discover your brand to the time you sell to them and repeat buying. So the goal for you now would be, how do you support your customers to increase that brand loyalty, increase their your brand perception, and create you know create an engagement that would ensure that they keep coming back and also refer you to others. That would be what you now focus on to improve. So talking about all of this, for it to make sense, you know, you have to have one tool, or maybe at most two, to be able to help you streamline all of this or centralize it, you know, in one place. So you don't want to be here, be there. You don't want to be everywhere. You don't want to use one tool today, use another tool tomorrow, or you don't want to use 10 tools at once. Especially when you are a small team of you are just on your own, it would be very, very difficult. So for you to keep your marketing and sales activities in one place, there's one tool that we usually would recommend, and that is Sendpulse. This is not because you know talking on this webinar, but it's because we have used Sendpulse. We've tested it, we've tried it, and I can tell you for sure that it is an amazing tool, that helps you coordinate, and streamline all your marketing and sales activities in one place without you having to, be everywhere or be confused. It simplifies your process and also give you insights on which tool you can use at what time if you don't want to use all of them. And it gives you various options, either to use the ones that are relevant for your business, or to combine several ones that will give you leverage for your business. So this is what Sendpulse enables, just like um, you know Olena explained during our opening. It is a tool that gives you the possibility to create all your marketing strategies and execute as well in just a single place. It gives you the possibility to create email campaigns, SMEs, gives you the possibility to connect to social media accounts through chatbots. Like, the options are endless. But for the purpose of this webinar, we are going to um, show you one or two reasons why we decided to work with Sendpulse as a partner, and why we believe that the tool is an amazing tool. And we will get to show you one or two demos inside of Sendpulse, what it looks like, so that if you decide to want to keep your marketing or centralize your marketing and sales activities, then you would have to think about Sendpulse as the go-to tool. So that would show you in a few moments from now. But before we go into the demo, we would want to proceed to talk about typical challenges and solutions, which I've already talked about anyways. But more specifically, as a business, the major challenge for you is always to make profits, generate revenue, and how do you do that is to generate leads. So now many people are not aware that they can make that process easy, which is why we are presenting this webinar. Think about you as a person, and an AI as an enabler in a competition, the human versus AI. The AI, a lot of people usually think is a competition between AI and human. Rather, the way we see AI is that it enables you to get your work done. So it's not necessarily in competition with humans. It is a tool. It is a process that enables you to become more productive, become more efficient. So it's not a competition, because we've had instances where some people say, well, I don't trust AI. AI doesn't have emotions, especially in marketing. You need to know how people are thinking. You need to know what people like, so when you're trying to define your ideal customer profile and all of that. So, you know, AI would not be able to give you all of those specific attributes that you're looking for. Yes, true. That's very correct. AI has no emotions. However, it can help you, can give you predefined um, insights that you can use to now create a more customized strategy for your target audience. Because the truth is, um, marketing is both an art and a science, and you have to be creative, but at the same time analytic. You know, and AI is good at the analytic part of it. Whilst you can now use your cognitive ability as human, of course, to be creative. So a combination of your human instincts, intelligence, plus AI, machine intelligence. Imagine that's what that means. It's mind blowing, So it's not a battle between the two. It's rather a collaboration. So if you use this strategy of using available AI tools to create strategies for your marketing, your sales and profits would skyrocket. So let's move to the benefits. I've already mentioned some, of its benefits of working with AI. It helps you streamline your workflow as a business. Think about it even outside of marketing. If you leverage AI, you can hire talents faster, easier, because you can also automate the hiring process. That's one department, HR. You know, Talking about you know, operations. It's you can also automate, operations within your company using AI. Talking about marketing, you can also automate it, using AI. And this also um, can be applicable to different industries, whether you are in healthcare, whether you are in manufacturing, it doesn't matter. This can be applicable to any any industry. It helps you streamline workflows, regardless of the department. Of course, it also enhances team collaboration. You know, and one of the things it does is that it helps you make more informed decision because thoughts are now organized. You don't have people thinking or doing things in silos. You can have a centralized, organized data system where everyone can have access to the data to make decisions, whether for sales, whether for marketing, or anything. So these are the benefits of leveraging AI tools, for your company organization. Um, I've mentioned Sendpulse as a tool that we recommend, but one of the tools that we use at Rethink Media consistently is HubSpot. And we use it for lead generation. You know, they have a very good, lead generation um, tool that helps you identify leads, nurture the leads, and of course, convert them. So based on the cool features and functionality of their lead generation tool, we usually would want to recommend HubSpot to businesses we work with. Of course, they use AI for lead scoring and qualification. Lead scoring is just simply trying to organize the leads you've generated based on the importance or how they fit into the prospects for your business. You know, that's basically what some lead scoring does, and HubSpot is very good at this. You know, um, I'll move to the next slide, which talked about um, Sendpulse again for marketing and sales in general. Like I mentioned earlier, they have different channels. It's a multi-channel platform, so they they have email capability, SMTP, push notification, SME, SMS, Viber, chatbots, and CRM. So they have a whole lot. We'll get into the platform soon, so you can see what we are talking about. Another tool that we like for social media platform is Predis AI. We are not talking, just to let you know, we are mentioning this tool not because we're advertising, they've paid us to advertise them. Sendpulse hasn't, you know, just a disclaimer, Sendpulse hasn't paid us, HubSpot didn't pay us, Predis didn't pay us, but we use these tools and we believe as part of a way of helping businesses to take advantage of available AI tools. These are some of the tools that we believe can help you up your game. And Predis is one of those tools. Most especially if you are big on social media, or most of your audience are on social media, they have a seamless process where you can integrate multiple social media platforms, create some content to target your audience, seamlessly, on all these different platforms. So you just create one single, um, you know, um, description or idea, and you can post across all of these different platforms, different formats of content, with videos, images, and of course text. So it's a very great platform for anyone who has the majority of their target audience on social media platforms. And for CRM, um, Sendpulse is a very good platform for that, to manage your customers. Um, and for the fact that we are trying to encourage you and give you tips on why you should leverage um, AI tools for your marketing and sales activities. We've sort of created a simple framework that can enable you as a business owner, even if you don't have a marketing team, to assess and buy AI technologies, based on some of this framework. We've created simple steps that you can use to identify technologies you can access and buy. So there are about 6 or 7, 5 steps rather, that we've created. And we this is not specific on any tool, not even Sendpulse or HubSpot or Predis AI we've mentioned. This is just a general guideline, um, just to help you decide on your own. Yes, he has mentioned Sendpulse, he has mentioned HubSpot, he has mentioned Predis AI. These steps, this framework will help you decide, okay, should I go for HubSpot? Should I go for Sendpulse? Should I go for Predis? It's just a general framework to help you as a business owner decide what to do and how to go about it. So the first thing for you is to know your need as a business. What's the current challenge that you're facing in marketing or sales, or what's the goal that you want to address? Is it that you want to reach a new target market in a different region? You need to know your demography as well. where are they, where would you find them in terms um, of the kind of products or services that you want to render or you want to serve your market. So you have to look at your goal, business goal. Then you also need to look at your current and maybe even future challenge in terms of your marketing. Are you trying to expand? Are you trying to improve a segment of your service or product, or do you want to bring new products line to the market? So once you identify what your needs, your business needs are, it makes it easier to now think about how AI can help you address it, especially um, retail marketing and sales. Then the next step would be for you to think about the capabilities that you want. You know, what do you want to do in terms of um, the tool that you want to pick? What do you want that tool to do? So you have to evaluate the tool based on what is capable of doing in accordance, in line with the business goals that you've set out, the challenges you've identified. So if you set that goal or challenges, picking or evaluating the tools to use become easier, which will now help you determine compatibility, scalability, and of course, ease of integration into your own, internal business processes. You know, then of course you need to the third step three will be for you to consider your return on investment and long-term benefit because you'll be buying the tools. They are not for free. Either you're subscribing or maybe it's one-time, payments. Either ways, you are making an investment. So you have to look at the cost, do a cost analysis, you know, um, which one would serve you better in the long term in terms of benefits. Then the fourth step would be um, comparing the companies or the tools, the platforms, you know, based on features. You have to also, aside from the feature, you have to think if they have a great customer support, and we also have to think about pricing, which we already talked about. Um, so these are the major things we also need to think about. So once you put all of this into perspective, you decide the one you pick. The next thing will be for you to, of course, do sort of pilot testing. If you like, if you can pick all of them, if you like all of the ones you've researched on, you can decide to sort of do a trial, do a testing on all of the tools. It could be that you you want each of the two for different reasons. Maybe you want one because it's better at at email campaigns, and then the other one is better at automating your entire marketing system. Once you decide, you now test. Of course, eventually you can now pick what fits your entire goal for your business. Because, like we said from the beginning, the goal for you is to have one central place. So having multiple tools which is going to be a challenge too. But the reason why you have to test is for you to decide which of these two would be good for you in terms of performance. Based on your evaluation, you can now pick the exact tool you want. Based on the different features and functionality that they have, and some of these features or functionality can be, it can be intersecting, you know, across features or functionality. So you now have to decide which one do you think is better from this, and make your decision. So this is the best way you get to decide on the AI tool out there to pick for your marketing and sales activities. In conclusion, AI tools are definitely great for marketing. They will help you generate more leads. They will help you streamline your marketing and sales activities, and of course, build customer relations and engagement. You know, in the process, centralizing the whole of your marketing and sales processes. Helping you to boost effectiveness and efficiency. And in the long run, if you have a a well defined customer target audience and a well defined marketing and sales system, it is definite that you would be able to increase your revenue and profits, because all of the base work has been done as a business. So if you're able to use the structured framework as well to decide on the tool to work with according to your business needs, or if you need support in doing that, we can always help you in the process to decide which AI tool. There are lots, we had to, because one of the reasons why we also have to limit it to these ones we mentioned, this presentation, because there are I wouldn't say millions, but there are thousands of AI tools, even just within marketing alone. There are thousands of tools you can check, you can see when you do your research or you go online. But in order for you not to be confused is the reason why we streamlined it to some of the tools we've mentioned, and of course giving you that framework you can use to decide, knowing fully well that there are thousands of tools out there. Whilst we conclude this presentation, we'll move to do a quick demo on some tools within Sendpulse. We'll focus mainly on the email tool for email campaign, and then we'll show you around other tools within the system. It is good that you start exploring the tools from today. If you haven't thought about using AI in your marketing and sales, we would want to encourage you to think about the power you would have as a business when you combine your human creativity plus AI intelligence to help you improve your business, and then get to acquire customers to make your business grow. Thank you so much. Before we move to Q&A, like I said, we'll go do a quick demo, and then we'll come back for the Q&A session, so you can ask your questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you. Vielen Dank. So I'll share my screen to do the demo. Just a minute. I'm sure my screen is visible now. So this is inside the Sendpulse. It's inside the Sendpulse system. If you see here, you have different menus. We have email automation, chatbot, CRM, website pop-ups, push notification, SMTP courses. These are basically tools that Sendpulse have created to help you um, you know leverage your to leverage them for your marketing. So if you want to create email campaigns, you want to set up automations for events or for your product to reach out to new audience or customers, you can automate everything there. Or if you want to set up a chatbot, you want to create a CRM system, you want to build a website, want to create pop-ups for your websites, want to create some push notification through webhooks, and create SMTP for email messages, and I want to create courses. These are all of the possibilities that Sendpulse offers you. And of course, if you want to send SMS, that possibility is there too. And of course, installing live chats for your website. So the without even going into it so much details, this overview alone can let you know that this is a robust system. But for the sake of time, we are going to just limit the demonstration to the email campaigns setup, which would give us an insight on at least how the tool works. Then if you need more details, you can always reach out, post the webinar. We'll be happy to go into more details to show you the features of each of the tools and how they function. So we go straight into the email tool, which is where we are. Create a new campaign for a start. This is where you start from to create a new campaign. We had already imported a few lists into this system, so we'll get to select the mailing list. The one we'll select is Simplex, which has 484 subscribers. So once you pick that, you have the choice to use segmentation. Segmentation is just for you to decide which of the if you want to create them based on priority, or maybe those who have opened the email, those who did not, or if you have certain categories you want to segment them into based on products or services, you can also create all of that. So when you're sending out your email, exactly the list you're sending it to. So we'll go ahead to you see the sender email, which is ours, and then the sender name is my name, Solomon Echo, and we have a subject line. We can just say sales campaign. Sales campaign. Then we go to the next. You can always save it as a draft as well. If you want to come back to it, you can save it and then come back to it. But we'll go to the next. The good part is they already have inbuilt templates. They have templates you can use, and of course you can also build yours. You can see template builder here and featured templates. You can also import your own templates too if you wish, and then there's some HTML editor. So we'll just for this, for just sake of demonstration, we'll just go ahead to pick this one, the dummy. We'll pick this. You can already see that it contains some email messages, like everything is already set up, so if you see the disclaimer for this unsubscribe, you can see our company name is already there. So sort of the data has already been captured. That's the beauty of AI. So we'll go to the next. Since we have that template, we just pick that and go to the next. Pick select. You can add a pre-header. A pre-header is just simply a description that comes after the headline or the email subject. That's what the pre-header is. If you like, you can add a pre-header. But because of time, we won't edit it. We'll just leave that the way it is. And if you want to add an attachment to the email, there's that possibility here. You can upload your file and attach to it, maybe for download or something. We'll go to the next, and you see the unsubscribe page is already default. The good part is if you want to add Google Analytics tags, you can also add it, and you can see the UTM data is already shown there, which is sales campaign. So the UTM is just simply a short form for auction tracking module, which usually tells you about the source, the type of traffic and all of these details. And this is more peculiar to website traffic, and Google Analytics is one of the platform that features this a lot. So if you want to include that, you can, but I'll just take it off for now. And then category, subscription category, we've not created anyone, so we'll leave that out for now. And of course, let's go to the next due to time. So now you can see that your email is set up. The mailing list where it was picked from is Simplex. That's the name of the list. The sender, this is me. The name of the campaign is sales campaign. And of course, we have the pre-header there. Then it shows you all of the details, based on the email. Then here it shows you when you will be sending it. You can now choose if you decide to send it tomorrow, 23rd, whatsoever. You can set the date and time basically. Yeah. And if you want to resend your campaign to users who didn't open it, you can just tick this box and set the date which you want it to be sent, and then you can either save your draft or schedule, so so this is saying that contains some emails that are not activated, so this would mean that I have to go back to the source of the email, to the subscribers list and check, so but apparently once you have set up the whole thing, the next thing for you would be to schedule the post, and usually you are supposed to now see that everything is ready to be sent, and depending on when you've scheduled it for, you can send it immediately, or you can schedule it for the time you want it to go out, and it will go out to everyone that's on your email list that you've selected, so of course, most times before you send, you always have the option to preview what you've created before you hit the send button, which is this tab here, preview and send. So because of time. We don't have so much time anymore. We have just 3 minutes. This the webinar is supposed to be for 1 hour. We would want to end the um the demo for now, and would request if you have more a need for more insights to want to know how this system functions. You can definitely get in touch with us, or of course directly to Sendpulse. We'll be happy to respond to your messages. Overall, we want to emphasize again that this is a powerful tool for SMEs, SME owners. If you are looking at saving time, saving costs, and of course, you know, um, energy and resources, please consider trying some of these tools that we have mentioned to scale your business and improve your marketing. Thank you for listening, and hope to expect your questions, of course, and insights, if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you, Solomon. Thank you very much for your overview of AI platforms and their capabilities. It was really interesting and useful. I can see that we have just a minute or 2 minutes for Q&A, as we said that the duration will be 1 hour. But however, I can see a question in the live chat. Friends, if you have any questions, just text them in the live chat. We have several minutes to answer. So the question from Helen, how can AI tools help in creating personalized email campaigns?
All right, thanks, Celine, for that question. Um, I would limit it to two tools: um, Sendpulse tools and ChatGPT. But you also need to do your own assignments or your own preliminary research, because, like I mentioned during my presentation, AI is just an enabler. It's not going to think for you. It's just helping you get the work done based on your own initial, work. So, what you can do if you want to create personalized email campaigns, you can research your the targets. Of course, you are not just creating an email campaign for unknown audience. You must have a product or service that you're offering a particular audience. So understanding who your target audience is or are is extremely important. So your research would start from ChatGPT, after analyzing your product and its target audience. Let's take, for instance, you run um, a healthcare company for people who want to smoothen their skin, for instance, and you've already collected emails. You have subscribers on your email list, and within the email list, definitely you have people of different interests based on the kind of products that you're offering. Maybe you have products for women who want to smoothen their skin. You have products for men who want to smoothen their skin. So if you're creating an email campaign and you're generalizing it, it might not be of interest to me when I open it as a man. So that would reduce the click the click or open rates. So for you to be able to now define or personalize that email, you have to do a little bit of research, which ChatGPT can help you do based on your products or service and the target audience. So one thing you can now do after your research is now within the tool, say Sendpulse, for instance, you go back to the tool you want to use, you now format the contents you've created for as an email message, that you want to create. You now, you know, basically segment it. You can decide to target a separate list based on your message, for that particular category, maybe for men. Then you now segment the list to for women, which many email campaign platforms or tool gives you that capability. Sendpulse also gives you that capability for you to segment, your audience. So it's a combination of different strategy, which now enables you decide on how you're going to go about the process from the point of research to which helps you understand your audience, and then to the tool now helping you segment the audience you want to target, and then you then execute. So with that, you you would ensure that the open rate will be higher, and of course the click-through rate too will be higher, because the goal for you is for people to either buy your product or contact you. So by the time you personalize it, you would see that the metrics would improve. But you have to understand who are they, who are you speaking to, who are these people. That's the only way you can personalize it. And if by personalization you mean the attributes like the name, their country, for them to be able to feel that you're speaking to them directly. If that's what you mean, a lot of email tools already offer that. You can send personalized messages that carries their names and contacts, without you doing any manual work. But if it's the other way around of customizing the message, so they feel like you're personally talking to them, that starts with research, trying to understand how they think, what they want. I hope I've been able to answer that question.
Thank you. Thank you, Salman, for such a detailed answer. Thank you, Helen, for the question. I can see any more questions in the live chat. Meanwhile, there is a question I would like to ask. What to consider when implementing AI in marketing to avoid some risks of negative consequences?
Okay. I think there are a lot of risk factor to consider, for sure. But I would say we shouldn't be scared of implementing AI in marketing, nonetheless, because we have, for instance, the simplest risk we can think about is plagiarism. That's the simplest risk. A lot of people just copy whatsoever they get. But this is not even just text alone. We have image generating tools like Leonardo AI and Midjourney. A lot of people just go put in the prompt and just use it that way. And the problem with that is there are two problems with that. One, there are a lot of concerns about copyright. Who owns the work now? There are some artists talking about images generated by AI who are saying they have to, their work are being used. We train the data based on their work, and now it's everywhere, and they are not benefiting from it. So so that's number one risk as a business owner, as a marketer. That's also where creativity still comes in. If you're going to generate a text for your marketing or an image or whatsoever, you still also have to be creative enough to want to repurpose it, to fit your own context, so that there's some form of originality to it. You don't just copy and paste. That alone could even um, could land you into trouble, because sometimes when you copy certain things, that's someone else's work. And AI is still, there are a lot of legal frameworks developing around it on how to limit or control the risk. So whilst all of these risks are being right now under study on how the best way to control them, I think we on our own, we have to sort of introduce some form of duty of care, to understand the limits. To what limits can I go in using this, this images, this text, these assets in general that are created. So one of the ways is plagiarism. Another risk, of course, is the fact that talking about ethics. Sometimes when you generate when you want something in particular, you, for instance, want to generate an image that is focusing on a particular subject matter, and it brings out something negative, that wasn't what you were looking for, you know just because the AI tool has not, the data has not been trained to understand your request. So if you are not very, if you don't discern between ethical contents and what is not ethical, you could use it that way, and it becomes a problem too. The same thing as text. AI, based on the fact that these are data being trained, and they get to be improved from time to time. So they might not. That's why we check ChatGPT, for instance. They would just say there's even a warning letting you know that it might not be accurate, it might not it might contain certain keywords that might not be useful, or this or that. So you have to still check or read through to ensure that you are also contributing to keeping the to improving the standards of the output, because at the end of the day they keep training the data based on the inputs and available data that comes up from time to time. So I think the major concern um, is is plagiarism, and the the ethical concerns of the data generated. So these are the major concerns for marketers. Um, and this is not just for marketers alone. I think it cuts across other industries. Where you are scared of um, you know, not copying or taking work from people's from people's sweat, and of course not bridging the ethical guidelines. Um, yeah, these are the major things I believe are the risk. You know.
Thank you. Thank you. Makes sense. Really interesting point of view. Okay, and it looks like you addressed the question that have come up. As is there anything you'd like to add or emphasize before we wrap up?
Well, I would want to say that it's been beautiful speaking to everyone, from the audience, and it's been great partner with St. Paul's as well. St. Paul's has made marketing so far become very, you know, stress free, become streamlined, and of course, made us become effective and efficient in how we execute, but not just for ourselves, but for our customers, because we also recommend send pause to our customer, because we find it to be a wonderful tool. So if you're thinking about adopting a marketing AI tool, personally, this is just a free advert for Sendpulse. I would recommend Sendpulse for you to use. And if you definitely are looking at increasing your sales or your profits, and you don't have the capacity to use these tools, even if though they are simple to use, they are not complicated at all. You don't need to be a tech guru, you don't need to be a software developer. They are very easy as much as you can take some time to go through them step by step. You'll be able to implement them, even if you don't have a marketing team. But even if that's a problem, we'll be happy to support you on that journey to help you implementing these tools in your business so you can become profitable and prosper. We are on a mission to empower 1 million businesses by 2030 to become profitable, leveraging marketing AI tools. And Sendpulse is already supporting us on that mission. So if you want to come on board, this is an opportunity for you to join. And thank you, Sendpulse, for making that happen, or being on that journey with us so far. Um, that's all I would say for now. I'm excited and I look forward to greater things with Sendpulse, and of course, supporting other businesses out there to leverage AI tools for their business. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Salman, for your feedback, for your tips, insights, and recommendations. And guys, be sure to connect with Salman on LinkedIn and follow Sendpulse on social media to stay connected. Once again, a big thank you to all of you for joining us today. Your participation means a lot to us. Stay tuned to our social media for updates on future webinars and online events. We'd love to have you join us again. And thank you, and I wish you all a wonderful week ahead. Thank you, Solomon. Thank you, all guys. Goodbye and take care.
Bye. Thank you.
I am Kelsey Leiber. I'm one of the co-founders of Fractal and Lead Time. Fractal is a content marketing agency, and Lead Time is a AI-powered PR workflow that we're getting ready to launch in Q3. So what I'm here today is to talk about 3 key topics for helping brands earn really high authority, mainstream news, niche industry publisher coverage, both in providing value to brand engagement and SEO metrics and all the great things. So I'm going to dive into a lot of slides. I think over 60, 70 slides to get through today. So I'm going to jump right in and kind of give you a little bit more about who I am and kind of what makes me an authority on this topic. So my industry experience, I've been a co-founder of Fractal for 12 years now. We have been a leader in the agency since kind of the inception of content marketing started about 12, 15 years ago. I have personally executed a lot of research into understanding what it takes to produce content that high authority journalists want to cover, and how to produce content that kind of taps into massive syndication networks. So when you get coverage on, let's say, CNN or Huffington Post, you kind of can ensure that that's going to get spread to hundreds of other relevant publishers with custom stories, syndicated stories, and whatnot. So you can find a lot of my research in major industry publishers like Harvard Business Review, Entrepreneur Inc., Time, as well as industry publishers like Moz and HubSpot and whatnot. I've also spoken at several industry conferences, including MozCon, PubCon, and with other brands like BuzzSumo, Native Advertising Days, and BuzzStream. My company also has a lot of really great accolades, both through the Inc. 5000, fastest growing companies in our early days, and we're also recognized as one of the Clutch Leader Matrix agencies. So really, what we specialize in is producing campaigns that publishers really love to feature. You can see here, these are just a handful of quotes that we've received recently from journalists when we pitch our campaigns to them, really focusing on the fact that the research that we provide aims to be really interesting, fascinating. A lot of them are saying, so interesting. These are really a lot of the common phrases we hear for our research. So what I want to do today is kind of distill to you, how do you produce kind of really interesting research that journalists want to cover? We've done it for all sorts of brands. So, very dry verticals like maybe finance or law, more serious topics that have a lot of regulation. We've also done it for more, fun, fluffy brands like travel and whatnot. So you're able to do this across a wide number of verticals, pretty much any vertical, let's say, except maybe some of the more shadier ones. So again, this is praise from the actual PR pitches that Fractal's team has sent, where oftentimes journalists are actually coming to us and saying, hey, can you add me to your media list? Like, I want to see a lot more of these pitches whenever you have them, whenever you have anything that's relevant to my beat, please add me to your list, right? So there's no better compliment you can get than a journalist saying, hey, pitch me more. So really the biggest accolade we have, right, is that Clutch is one of the main kind of agency ranking platforms that has over 27,000 companies listed for content marketing services. And Fractal has been in their top 5 of their leader matrix for as long as this platform has existed. It's grown exponentially, honestly, in the last year or two. I feel like they're adding 1,000 agencies a month these days. But now we continue to maintain our position in the top 3. So we really do have a lot of client reviews, case studies, and just an industry reputation that they score by that kind of demonstrate that we as an agency and the company that we've all built together understand what it takes to kind of break into mainstream news and get coverage for your brand. And that's what I'm going to go into a lot of today. We've done it for Fortune 500 companies, which I'll admit are a bit easier, I think, to get press from. But I would say probably 70% of our client roster is actually SMBs and startups who need to work a little harder, right, to build that brand authority, get the recognition, and then make it easier for them to get future coverage. So my GIFs don't work. This is an uploaded PDF, but you get the gist, right? Do high authority links still matter? I think everybody in the industry for the last, 4 to 8 weeks after the Google leak, and really for the last 12 years, has always been in this question of like, how important are links? I think there's enough resources out there nowadays to really show, even within the last month, right? Links are very important to SEO, but also just to general PR KPIs like engagement, awareness, sales KPIs like conversions. So all of these quotes here are based on really authoritative sources in the SEO industry talking about studies that have been done to analyze whether or not links are valuable. And really the key point here is that authoritative links matter now more than ever before, right? Recent study as of June 2024, right, just a couple weeks ago, over 96% of websites ranking in the top 10 had more than 1,000 ULDs, unique linking domains. Only 3%, or 0.3%, even more important, had less than 100 backlinks. Okay, so those are links from any outside website that are linking back to you as an authority on your topic. And basically, the more of these links and mentions you have, the more authority your brand gets in the eyes of search algorithms and where they rank you. Beyond the SEO metrics, though, there are lots of valuable ways that engaging content can provide a bottom line impact for your brand, right? So we'll go into that. So our position, right, as Fractal and Lead Time, of course, is in the dawn of AI-driven content, high authority links will be a major differentiating factor from sites that are spun up overnight. So it's very clear AI is going to be leveraged over the next several years, forever, right, at this point, and increasingly so to produce content. There will be some people that will just spin up 1,000-page websites overnight, and they will certainly be nailed by Google for thin content pages and whatnot. I've already seen it in audits I've done for some clients, but there will also be other brands who are leveraging, agents, multi-prompt agents, and other really innovative technology that is going to go beyond, far beyond what a freelance writer can produce on their own on, thousands of different topics. It'll be very important to still weave in, your client or your expertise, but there's not a shadow of a doubt that right now already there are thousands of domains being spun up, and some will be ones that you need to compete with. And the best ones will be outshining others because they have that authoritative backlink portfolio that kind of demonstrates that this site has been here for a while. This is a trusted source. They've got a lot of really high authority other sites linking back to them. Google will rank you better, higher engagement and whatnot. So let's get into the meat of the study, right? Let's talk about how to put your brand at the front of breaking and cyclical news. So before you go into, using AI to pitch your brand, what you need to do is really learn and understand how to produce newsworthy content. And the best way to do that is by producing studies or expert quotes and all these different strategies we'll go into on topics that are considered newsworthy, either through breaking news that's happening that your brand can add value to, or cyclical news that's happening, holidays, back to school, whatnot. Or second to that is just kind of evergreen news, right? There are certain FAQs that come up in every industry, and what guides can you create on that? So how do you earn media, right? You create news. These are two examples of placements we've had recently with the New York Times. You can do seasonal content, right? Like Living with the Ghost around Halloween. That's a great angle that we do really well with every year. You can do more evergreen content, like which states are the most safe and secure for renters. And each of these studies have broad consumer appeal. Journalists have a lot of interest in covering new data on these topics, and they either are relevant in a breaking news cycle with, the holidays coming up or whatnot, or they're relevant to an evergreen news cycle with renters are always moving to new neighborhoods, and how do you know where is safe? So let's get into the meat of it. Data journalism campaigns are one set of campaign that you can use to earn press. I know marketers and SEOs especially love to rebrand the same thing over and over and over again. I'm guilty of it myself. I think we've called PR media relations, digital PR, blogger outreach, right? Like the industry evolves, but it's all the same thing. So you might know this is something else. At Fractal, we call it data journalism campaigns. These are larger scope data-driven stories that build a brand's awareness, engagement, and authority. So what we generally do is we aim to do a proprietary research study that can be distilled down into kind of really interesting short graphics that really the goal is to highlight the most surprising, emotionally compelling findings from the research that we do. So whatever your topic is, really sinking your teeth into what data did I get from this that's really surprising me, that stands out, that elicits the emotion of surprise or interest. Fractal's done a lot of research on this topic in our early days on Harvard Business Review. You can find a lot of it, really trying to understand which emotions kind of lead to viral sharing. And if all you take away from this is focus on surprise, that can be the biggest thing to help you stand out, especially in a sea of content marketers who are all trying to do the same studies nowadays, right? So what you do is you produce the study, right? You analyze the data, you come up with a few custom graphics, simple pie charts work oftentimes. I'd say 95% of the times, the journalists don't actually cover the asset, the visual asset, but it serves to add value on your landing page, your client's landing page, just visually intriguing, right? And so what you want to do is you have the assets, you weave it into a newsworthy kind of landing page with actionable insights, which is super important because every publisher is going to say, great, this is like surprising data, but what do I do with it, right? So you need to have, that's where you have your expertise woven in through your quotes to complement the research, featuring your brand more, right? A lot of opportunities. Then you take that landing page and you pitch it to authoritative publishers. So when I say authoritative publishers, I'm thinking usually generally domain rating or domain authority scores for how trusted a site is. And generally what you'll find is the mainstream news sites in your country, in the US, right? It's USA Today, CNBC, CNN, but also there's niche publishers that are still authorities, in my opinion. Like Business Insider has more of that kind of business finance angle, or you can have Everyday Health, more like health publishers. So those are what I consider kind of an industry leading type of publisher outside of mainstream news. So these are all the different types of sites that you can earn links from, right? It goes beyond mainstream local news, international news, radio stations, .eu blogs, .govs, podcasts, more. So we'll go into how to earn each one of those types of press from here. But the biggest thing is when you use data, proprietary research to produce publishers, that's what they're looking for to consider your brand newsworthy and worth covering. Not necessarily a press release all the time, right? Like that's a strategy that's been tried and true. A lot of people do it. It works for big brands. It works for smaller brands sometimes. But really, when you want to break into the news and say you're a startup, you don't have a lot of kind of that equity, doing research within your vertical that is either kind of maybe a little tangential within your broader themes of your vertical is the most effective way to get brand coverage. So what's an example of this? One of the campaigns we've done recently is an analysis of retirees rejoining the workforce. So kind of like baby boomers and other older demographics that are being forced back into the workforce because of the fact that inflation is so high, the cost of living is so expensive. And so, unfortunately, 1 out of 6 retirees, according to our study, are considering rejoining the workforce, which is like a huge alarming stat for a lot of people and a lot of journalists, right? Finance journalists, journalists that cover like AARP, like older demographic baby boomer news and whatnot. And so what we did is we did this whole study of the baby boomer generation and HR people that employ them to really try to understand what are the patterns that they're seeing, why is this happening, what can we do about it? And this study earned coverage in AARP, Inc., Entrepreneur, Daily Mail, CBS, Go Banking Reach. Hundreds of different publishers covered it, both in US news, UK mainstream news, and then niche sites related to HR and related to boomers themselves. So great example of how you can take a set. So this is for paychecks. And so this is how you can take a study and then make it broadly relatable to a lot of different publishers, but still relevant to your brand. So as you can see here too, proprietary research does a little bit of assurances, right, for ensuring that your brand gets the proper citations during AI overviews, right? Because when you are producing something that is custom proprietary research, Google is almost forced into making sure that they're crediting your brand for that research because it doesn't exist really anywhere else. So it's a great way to kind of stay ahead of some of the innovation that is coming to search. Another campaign example is Best Cities to Thrift. So we work with Coupon Follow on this campaign. This was a Yelp data analysis combined with a smaller survey to understand where are people finding the most stores to do thrifting in? What are the highest rated cities for thrifting? What exactly are people thrifting and what are they saving the most money on? Are there certain categories that we should all be thrifting more of? Apparently home goods, which I hadn't ever thought of. I always thought of thrifting as like clothing. So the big stat here was clothing thrifters save almost $1,800 a year by buying secondhand. So that was a headline that was covered by dozens of different publishers, all who wrote unique stories, but made sure to kind of feature that stat as like a main theme in their study. So again, people were clearly surprised that, hey, $1,800, that's a pretty good amount of money to save. That's a vacation for a lot of people. So great relevant content, CNET, The Street, Real Simple, Penny Hoarder, Board Panda, right, for a couponing site. Lots of finance content, lots of home and lifestyle brand coverage. This is all really great. So when you produce evergreen research that's relevant to your vertical without being so hyper on brand that it's an ad, what you do is you create an evergreen link magnet. So we will typically perform outreach generally for somewhere between 1 to 4 weeks, depending on the news cycle, sometimes even shorter with newsjacking. But really what happens is once you see that page with a few authoritative links, it generally will appear in searches when other people are going to find data that's relevant to that type of angle. And then suddenly you're now getting coverage for your brand on leading publishers without ever having to write an email pitch, right? So this was published originally back in 2022. It has since gotten coverage in February of 2024, March of 2024, November of 2022, and down here, June, my slide button covers it, of 2023. So you can see here, right, you do your initial pitch, and then you continue to reap the benefits for years to come, really. So what are the different ways that you can produce studies, right? I think the industry at large really relies heavily on surveys, and they're certainly one of the most valuable ways to quickly produce proprietary research at a relatively low cost. But because there's so much saturation, I think, happening in the content marketing industry right now, it's important that brands really reflect on how they can produce a more unique methodology than what everyone else is doing. Because if everybody's pitching the same headlines, especially around the holidays, right? How do you stand out if you're all sending the same type of content? So the opportunity you have is looking at how can I produce something a little different than what everyone else is doing. So we use dozens of different types of methodologies in the campaigns that we produce. Generally, we aim to produce a few varieties of these methodologies over the course of 6 to 12 months. We'll hit most of them. So generally, primary research, right? API data analysis is a huge one. Anytime you can tap into API. AI is really great if you don't even have any programming skills to be able to work with APIs, teach you how to work with different APIs, help you do the data analysis for it. It's really incredible what you're capable of doing now with tools like Claude and GPT. So large scale surveys are kind of tried and true, right? 20 questions, get really in depth, go into demographic information, go into information about gender and age and income and whatnot, lots of ways to splice that data up. Pulse surveys, so that's more about trending news, breaking news that's happening when you want to do a really quick survey to understand, what is being said that in this breaking news cycle and how can I add value to it. Google Trends analyses, Google Trends by states. Most of these are low to no cost to do too. So it's important for startups to look at what from this list can I do easily on my own versus what might be more expensive. So APIs can be a little bit more expensive to access sometimes, but it's very easy and low cost to do a 5-question survey. You just have to be going after the right news cycles. So talk about going after the right news cycles, right? So reactive PR to me is one of the best opportunities for a brand. So if you look at data journalism, it's more kind of the evergreen news that's happening in your industry and how you can provide value with larger scope data analysis. Reactive PR is based on breaking news in your vertical. Usually there are potentially divergent views that are gaining traction. So there's some sort of discord that's happening in your industry and people aren't quite sure which side they're going to take. And so that generally drums up a lot of coverage, right? The important thing here is that you have to move very rapidly to produce that data to add value to that news cycle, right? Because it happens so fast. If you're not one of the first movers in it, you're at a point where everyone else has already added value and now it's kind of old news. It can happen sometimes within 24 to 72 hours, sometimes 1 to 2 weeks, but usually with breaking news, you've got to move within that first 24 to 72 hours of the news breaking to do your data analysis and be pitching it to publishers to kind of leverage that initial curve that happens when they're actively looking for research. Is generally within 24 hours, we'll turn around a study. And then our PR team will do a more scaled outreach to go after all the publishers that are kind of starting to cover this topic and the ones that are relevant to this topic and we think are going to cover it next that might not know. With the capabilities of AI now, campaigns that used to take Fractal 4 to 6 weeks to produce now are literally taking hours. We did a Yelp data analysis just the other week, and one of our data journalists was like, wow, that took me an hour. And, the great news here is that means your cost to produce these things go down, your ability to scale the number of executions you do goes way up. And really you have to think about, okay, not every single attempt is going to be a home run, but if I'm consistently doing attempts or monitoring the news when there are opportunities, the likelihood of having a home run within, a 1 to 3 or 1 to 6 month timeline is pretty high as long as you're following a lot of the tips you're going to get today. So one of the things we do is, I would say probably 90 to 95% of the studies that we do at Fractal are hosted on our clients' landing pages. And the reason for this is in our earlier stages of doing this outreach, I personally found that when I was pitching, the publishers were less likely to link to our client because they thought like, oh, well, I just name dropped them. Like, why do I have to link back to the client? What value does that really add to my study? I already gave you credit. And so what we found was when you host your research on a landing page, just like a blog page or a pillar page on your site, you almost force the issue of you need to source this study in order to cover it on your column. Proper attribution is a real big thing for journalists. They care a lot about that. And so now you've given them a really strong reason. You're providing more value in your study. You want to be credited as the source of it. And so typically what we'll see now is they'll link both to the homepage and to the study landing page. Sometimes just the study landing page, but typically maybe 50% of the stories have both. So really drives a lot of value to have that landing page. We'll also generally password protect landing pages. We typically won't for reactive type work because the news cycle is moving so fast. We just want to mass blast it out. But for data journalism campaigns and the other type of campaigns I'm going to describe, it always helps to password protect those pages because essentially you're guaranteeing that exclusivity that the highest authority publishers care a lot about, right? They don't want something that's stale. So you're guaranteeing that, hey, you're the first to break this news. Like, that you're pretty lucky to have this story that you're going to bring this research out that's relevant to your readership, on behalf of a trusted brand. So password protection is great when you're not working with something super time sensitive. When you are, drop it, scale. So for the PR team on reactive PR, generally what we're trying to do is come up with at least 3 to 5 different templates that kind of hook into the different breaking news themes that are happening. Typically what you'll see is that each news story might have like 1 to 3 or more verticals that are going to cover it, right? Sometimes in health vertical, you'll see men's interest sites, women's interest sites, general health sites, psychology type sites. There's a lot of verticals that generally are relevant to one study, right? Because there's different questions and themes you've explored in your research. So making sure that your PR team is hyper targeted in their outreach by having templates that really speak to those different journalist segments can help you develop what I've always called a seemingly personalized pitch, right? We now call them like a reactive pitch, where you're kind of rating a template based on a trending news story that's being covered by anywhere from like, let's say 10 to 20, 5 to 10 publishers, but having that hyper-targeted pitch is incredibly important because so many publishers get, somewhere between 100 to 300 pitches per day, right? So the more relevant you can be to their specific beat, the more you stand out, the more you're going to increase your coverage. So what we'll do is we'll generally aim to have a list of about 100 different journalists by the time we're ready to go live with our research. And that'll be segmented into lists of anywhere from 3 to 5 or more. And then we'll blast those out within 24 to 72 hours of that news breaking, finishing our research. We'll see how the subject lines are doing. We'll A/B test different angles, and then we'll continue to pitch generally for a minimum of three to 5 business days. Because typically that's when you'll see kind of the drop off of certain news happen, but maximum 1 week, right? So constantly kind of editing those templates, seeing what's working, doubling down, going after new publishers that are starting to cover it. This is a really great way to scale your outreach with relatively minimal effort, right? Because most of these campaign methodologies take about an hour, maybe 24 hours max to produce. And the 24 hours, technically, at least with surveys, is usually you're waiting for the responses to come in. So it's not like you're doing a lot of work. Let me check on the comments here. Okay, so as far as is it common for campaigns to hit or miss? Generally what we say is that 80% of your results will come from 20% of your campaigns, right? Because when you have a home run campaign, you're getting somewhere in the mix of hundreds of pickups for that angle. And that means that you really hit that sweet spot for the news cycle, right? You've got it right at that curve. And so it scaled your outreach because you provided value in the news cycle right as it was bursting. That can happen maybe 20, 30% or more of the time, depending on your limitations, like your brand, how much reach you have overall, like how many publishers you're really relevant to in the research that you're doing, how comfortable your different units within your company are with, going tangential or maybe going controversial, right? All these things can influence how successful you are. So that's like a general 80-20 rule, especially for, I'd say, more conservative brands or more niche brands. We've definitely seen a lot of clients that will pop off with, if we do 12 campaigns in a year, I'd say 30% of them maybe break over 100. There might be 40 to 50% that are in like the 20 to 50 plus range. And then, 10 to 20, 30% that are in that 10 to 30 range or so. So it gives you a good spread. So what we always try to do really is focus in on, it's not a volume game, right? It's an authority game. And we want to be focused on driving the most unique linking domains back to your site. So even if you had every single campaign and it got 200 pickups, but it was all the same sites, that doesn't provide as much value as 200 pickups on 200 different sites. So, really focusing on how do you go after different verticals with each study you do so that you expand the number of unique linking domains back to your site. How do you pursue topics that are relevant to maybe .gov or .edu sites? And how is that different from mainstream news? So we'll go into some of that now. I have to be cognizant of time. Okay, so one of the reactive studies we've done, really monitoring breaking news, especially political news, and this year more than ever in the United States and honestly around the world, I've seen a lot of controversial political news happening right now this year. And this is one of the best opportunities you have for reactive PR if your brand, is comfortable commenting on these things and monitoring that news. So great example in 2022, Roe v. Wade was overturned in the States. We did a very simple analysis at the time. We were working with Inner Body Health, a health research company. And what we did is as soon as that news broke, within 24 hours, we went to Google Trends and we looked at, what are relevant keywords to this news, right? Vasectomies. what we found was the interest in searches for vasectomies rose 250% in the day following the news breaking, right? So that's a pretty significant growth within 24 hours of this news breaking, definitely connected. And so what we did is we took that single stat from Google Trends free tool, and we paired it with our client, who's an expert in health research. And we kind of came up with commentary around, okay, why is that search happening? Why is that search interest growing? What are the concerns or benefits of vasectomies? And what is his broader take on the news cycle? This blew up, really simple execution, got coverage on MSNBC, Katie Couric, Today, Washington Examiner, Politico, hundreds of sites covered this, right? This is one of those you hit the holy grail type opportunities because you moved quick with news that the entire country and world is commenting on. Another one, so the following year, we've done hundreds of these per year. I'm kind of showing you different verticals and different ways to approach it. So the first one was just a Google Trends analysis. This one, ChatGPT, right? The topic of the conversation. AI in public schools, right? Or in colleges, right? In December of 2022, GPT became public for the average user to use. By January 2023, right? The very next month, New York City public schools banned access to GPT for students and teachers. So that was huge because New York City is a leader in this space and public education here, and a lot of states would likely follow suit. So what we did is we immediately put together a study for our client, study.com. And what we did is we wanted to understand, okay, like how many teachers or professors support this decision to ban access to this innovative technology that is about to rule our world in the next 5 years, especially for students and also for teachers. Why prevent them from having that efficiency gain? How did teachers feel about it? Were they getting any information on the policies or whatnot? Had they found people cheating using it? Yes, they had at that time. And how should it be managed? And there was a clear divide here. I think it was like 50, 60% of teachers said it should be banned. And the other 40, 50% said it shouldn't be banned. We need to be learning how to use this and we need to teach the kids how to use it. So there's great opportunity to earn press, right? At the time, it was just New York City public schools. About a month later, we rebooted the study and had a map showing kind of the growth of other states had followed suit, kind of starting to cover the country. And both of these studies, the first one and the second, earned over 300 pickups in mainstream news. So you really see the potential for when you're following breaking news within your industry, and there aren't tons of opportunities for this, right? But this should be a mix that you're focusing on in the course of your year and having tools monitoring it. You can get really great press. So I will go into the tools that we use to monitor news. So I saw that question. Okay, so another one, beyond studies, right? Because studies can seem intimidating to a lot of people. Some of them require budgets, but really, typically the budgets aren't more than a couple $100 unless you're getting into really sophisticated stuff. So a lot of people are capable of doing this type of work. A lot of these can even be free for you besides the time of you as a startup or your team monitoring this news. So this example is more in what expert quotes, right? How can I use just my own expertise and provide that value in a breaking news cycle to earn coverage? So again, right, politics are a great source for this type of need for thought leadership and expertise. So one of our clients, College Rover, is really passionate about going after controversial news, which is a godsend for this type of work. And so what we do is we set up a lot of alerts for monitoring, politics and education and changes that are especially happening at the collegiate level. And immediately when we see those opportunities, whether it's on Twitter or X, or, Quoted or, Harrow, any of the platforms where journalists are actively seeking news, we always are looking to pitch our client on the quotes about whatever the controversial coverage is. So through this client has earned just this year, right, USA Today, Quartz, NBC News, and dozens of other leading publishers for his stance on whatever the policies are that are changing at individual colleges or on a national level. So that's reactive, right? That is a little harder to monitor, right? If you have to really be lasered in on the news. Sometimes news can break at times that aren't ideal for your team to really be doing anything. You can miss that window of opportunity. But as long as you have it in the back of your mind, you have systems set up to monitor it, that is a really great opportunity to scale outreach because there's a natural scale in the publishers covering the news. Proactive PR is a little bit more niche in its coverage because it's talking about something that's probably more closely to the brand. It's based on cyclical news cycles instead of breaking news cycles that maybe don't have as much traction unless it's the holidays. And really, this type of strategy comes down to your team sitting down and looking at, the next 3 months, let's say. I generally like to do this planning quarterly. What's coming up in the news cycle? There's so many holidays nowadays, like Donut Day and Bee Day and like Wine Day. So every month, almost every day has like some sort of holiday that some publisher is covering. So really look, setting up tools to monitor what are the upcoming events in the next month or two that my brand can speak to and provide value in. Typically, what we try to do is either design resources ahead of the news cycle that we can pitch. And these can be simple like blog pillar pages. They don't have to have intensive research. They can just be really in-depth guides using your expertise. Generally, they're on more mid-bottom funnel topics, which can be great, right? Because reactive can be a little bit more tangential. This can be a little bit more on-brand, highly relevant links. And this is more outreach that's done at a slower pace, right? We're not moving in 24, 72 hours. We generally will take 3 to 4 weeks leading up to that holiday to pitch it. It's really important that you're doing it preceding that holiday in enough time because journalists are covering it, that month leading up to it. If you wait to pitch that week, I've seen so many times where journalists are like, oh, we already did that coverage, right? So you really want to be pitching kind of like a month before so they can kind of have you in their queue of content to cover. It's the biggest thing with proactive. So examples of this, right? Teachers on back to school spending. So in August, early August, we're doing an analysis of a survey first of a small number of a niche group of people, teachers, roughly 350, right? Then we also looked at nearly 30 Amazon wish lists. And we combined that with BLS, so Bureau of Labor Statistics, year-over-year inflation calculator. So using kind of combined methodologies, we were able to come up with analysis of like how much teachers are spending out of pocket for their classrooms and how do people feel about that? How do teachers feel about it? Do parents think that's fair? And very simple, right? 500 words, roughly 10 bulleted key takeaways from that research. Only 2 visual assets. So it doesn't need to be some massive guide to do this. It's really succinct and focused. Earned 142 pickups for this client. Another example of this, again, just a simple Google Trends quote combined with a resource on the popular travel destinations. We linked spontaneous travel as a keyword was up 400%. Combined with where people are traveling popular destinations. And that got 110 pickups. And this was just an existing resource that was already on the client site. So, quotes, guides, predictions, listicles, little mini pulse surveys, public data sets. There's a lot of ways you can go after kind of more proactive news planning. To me, expert quotes are really the umbrella of proactive because it's, you're planning ahead with something really simple that you can do. How can my brand, the owners of this brand, the leaders within this agency or this company provide thought leadership? There's so many, benefits to that too, besides the SEO and PR KPIs. And so these are a few examples of our client Payless Power. We're in our 3rd year of an annual engagement with them. They say that we're the Michael Jordan of link building. Love those guys. One of the things we do for them in their mix of PR strategies is simple quotes, right? We do a lot of data journalism, lots of tools, but simple quotes are super relevant. They get them lots of coverage in Texas-based publishers where their clients exist, and authoritative publishers where they just want to build their thought leadership. So seasonally, we did content around how holiday lights could increase your electricity bill and ways you could counteract that. We did research on, in the summer months, how to keep your electric bill low. Is it worth it to use fans or an air conditioner, which is really better for the cost of electricity and overall efficiency of your home? We also are doing analyses on, how much energy does Bitcoin or mining use versus other, financial institutions or whatnot. And I think everyone assumes that mining uses a massive amount of energy, which certainly does. AI is going to use way more. And how can they add value on all these things that are relevant to electricity for their brand, right? These are great opportunities. You're not going to generally see hundreds of links on these because they're just quotes, but you might get a really great link like Go Banking Rates, USA Today, and Crypto News. These are all DA 80 plus publishers. So just if you are an agency working with a lot of clients, one of the best ways to find existing site resources, right, is just do a quick site search for whatever keyword you're trying to build proactive news for. Because so many of the clients we work with, right, some of them might have thousands of pages on their site. So just doing those simple searches can really help you hone in on, okay, what already exists on this site that I can use, or what do I need to create content for because there's just a gap in this coverage. You might not always have an expert in-house for the topic that you're doing, especially if you're doing something that's a bit more tangential, but don't feel like that means that you need to stop there, right? You can find credible sources, especially my favorite thing to do is go look at like a nonprofit, go look at industry associations. So one of the clients we work with is in the surety bond space, and truckers really need surety bonds, right? And so we did a campaign on female truckers, relevant enough, tangential, but relevant enough. But when we went to pitch that campaign, a lot of the leading publishers were like, well, we want an expert to interview for this pitch, which is very, very common now. I would say 80% of the stories we are in now, journalists want that kind of firsthand expertise from your client or someone else. So you kind of have to think about that when you go to pitch anything. And so what I did in this instance, as we started getting more and more of these requests, is I reached out, I did a quick search in Google for, female truckers, just start really broad. And I found a female trucker association, right? Like there's so many of these types of opportunities in a number of industries. These people are eager for press as well. Simply sent them a quick email to their marketing team, said, hey, do you have anybody who would be willing to be quoted alongside my client research? They responded within minutes to me with interest and lots of different people they could connect me with. And within a couple of days, the story went live. And then the next week, they wanted more people. I think we got them covered in 3 or 4 different sites, along with our client getting coverage in hundreds of sites, right? So great mutual benefit here. You don't always have to be the expert. You do want to have the data. So breezing through this next section, so I have enough time for the AI portion. Really, you need to understand the content strategies to be able to scale the PR with AI. So this is the most important part. AI can automate it for you in seconds by the end of this. So interactive tools are a really great resource. There's a lot of programmers on different, GitHub or even like Fiverr or whatnot that can produce tools for you. And honestly, our business partners are producing them even just using Claude, prompting back and forth, being able to create, very simple calculators are easier now than ever before. So even a novice can be a person who can put together a tool with the right focus and series of prompts to get to the end result. So another one we did was loading your face as an alcoholic, 755 stories. So these tools are generally more mid-bottom funnel, and they're really evergreen link magnets if you design them right. So think about, what are the FAQs, what are the pain points in your industry, and how can you design a tool to help address that issue? And those are a goldmine. Resource link building campaigns. These to me are some of the highest value in the types of links that they can earn, like .gov and .edu links, but can also be some of the lowest kind of reach as the number of publishers that will want to cover them, because generally they come across as more on-brand resources and marketing content. And a lot of marketing publishers want you to pay for that feature, right? Unless you're really providing value and breaking research and whatnot. So these we do for, maybe in a 12-month engagement, we might do 1 or 2 of these, depending on the client vertical. The more authoritative the brand is, the easier it is to get coverage for these. Generally, it's a more long form guide, anywhere from like 2, sometimes even up to like 3,000 or 4,000 words. Usually if they have assets, sometimes it can be repurposed data visualizations from other like authoritative sources like government sites and .edus, which you can use to get those links. You do a really narrow PR strategy to those very specific sites that are relevant. The .gov and .edus. And typically you'll get, anywhere from 5, 10, 20 or more links, depending on how broad your topic is. So .gov sites are generally going after in-depth research on actionable guides for like broad consumer appeal or broad like target market appeal. So that paycheck study I shared earlier on boomers or retirees rejoining the workforce, that was covered by a governor. we've done studies for Payless Power on electricity costs around the country versus Texas and power outages. That's gotten them coverage on .gov sites. And also studies we've done for finance clients, looking at even just the cost of Thanksgiving and the increasing cost of that year over year, and how some people can't afford to host Thanksgiving. That earns study coverage on a .gov site. So these are all themes that kind of electricity, Thanksgiving, work, massive amount of people in the workforce, really broad topics. So .edu blogs are a bit different, right? These are very focused to students. Typically, they're run by students or professors, which can be a lot easier to break into, in my opinion, than like a mainstream news publisher that's getting 100 pitches a day. So you can, if you want to get around to your comment, the .gov restrictions on covering anything commercial. So really what you do is, by not focusing as much on like all of your conversion messages, right? Like leave that for other pages. The goal of these pages is to earn high authority links. The more you try to stuff in conversion messages into link building pages, the more you're going to deter a large number of journalists from covering the page. That's not really the intent of those pages. There's money page link building specifically designed to build links to those pages, but for the purpose of these reports, when you're going after these types of sites, you don't want that on those pages. That's just going to ruin your ROI on this. So really just focus solely on how do I create the most robust guide on this specific topic and make it super relevant to either the broad consumer base or to students, right? So I did an analysis of over 200 links that we've earned in the past year from .edu sites, kind of just trying to understand, what are the different themes on these .edu blogs that they're willing to cover. So obviously anything that's related to a student, the degrees that specific college offers, real world challenges that a lot of students are going to face post-graduation, things like career advancement. So, career and employment trends, like how to ask for a raise, or, a guide to careers in accounting, or a guide to careers in any number, hundreds of jobs. Technology and future trends. So things like healthcare, tech and healthcare, bias problems in AI with DALL-E, financial literacy, health and wellness, cultural, educational, economic, all the trends that relate to students. And you guys are going to get this deck, so I don't want to spend too much more time on that part. So monitoring the news is going to breeze through this too. So glad it's useful for everybody. Sorry, I'm going to take a little bit more time. I always end up doing this. My goal is to provide the most value I can, and there's a lot changing in the industry right now and a lot of opportunity. So it's really good stuff to talk about. So how do you monitor breaking news, right? How do you find these opportunities for free or low cost? X to me is one of the best ways to do that, right? There are a lot of different hashtags that journalists use to actively reach out to, PR people, brands, to say, okay, I'm looking for this topic. These hashtags have been around since the start of the industry. And so there are some that are more popular than others. I did an analysis in Q4 looking at which hashtags get the most traction, which days of the week are they most active. So key message here is Monday through Friday, it's pretty much all kind of at the same level of people that are posting somewhere between 3,000 to 4,000 or more tweets per day on, hashtag journal request, hashtag PR request. Those are the two that I would use primarily when doing my searches, because as you can see, those are 11 to close to 20,000 hashtags per day versus the other ones like blogger request, journal request are kind of in the hundreds. So, go after the biggest ones, the most common ones. Also, what exactly are they looking for, right? They're looking for experts to comment. They're generally looking for data. If you have any relevant data, it doesn't need to be breaking data. It could just be data that you have from an older study, even if it's relevant to what they're looking for. Personal stories or case studies. You can see here from the sample of tweets that I literally just screenshotted last night for this deck. They're all posted within the last few hours. There's so many of these opportunities. So you can just search journal requests. Sometimes you can add your vertical, you can add studies or topics that are relevant to the studies that you produced, and find great opportunities for your brand. Better than that, you can create custom X lists of journalists that are relevant to your specific brand. So I've got lists for, education writers, finance writers, healthcare writers. You should have dozens of those. And as part of Lead Time, I'm sure I'll make those public in the next few months. Pretty much every vertical needs expert quotes. Some have more opportunities than others, especially health, I think, with the changes to EAT, right? People are looking for that firsthand expertise in their stories. So if you work in any of those verticals, it's a great opportunity to get quotes. Glimpse, so this is an extension of Google Trends. It's a really great add-on, very inexpensive. And what it helps you do is kind of add additional data and track keywords that are just starting to break in the news. So something like, I don't know about you guys, but I've gotten a ton of leads from AI photo generators, so especially headshot generators, which I use myself, and it was pretty cool. So I have set up keywords looking at like AI generators, AI pic generators, and each one of them have seen close to 900% growth in search in the last year. So like these are all great stats to just kind of be monitoring behind the scenes for your brand. And it can help you really drill into and identify the ones that might be coming up. And you can set alerts for when it reaches a certain threshold to say, okay, now it's time to go. You know, generally you're looking for some growth that's over about 100 to 300%, preferably even more than that, because the bigger it gets, the more headlines you're going to get. BuzzSumo has really great tools for creating kind of custom news feeds that are relevant to your specific vertical. Reddit is huge, right? There's been so much change in the SERPs recently featuring Reddit too, but really just going in and kind of bookmarking all of the subreddits that are relevant to your vertical is a great way to see kind of what's about to be trending in your vertical. So many journalists look to Reddit as a data source too. So typically if you see something that starts to take off there, it's a great way to be like, okay, let's get some quotes on this topic because it's starting to trend on our teachers or our technology. Newsletters are great, especially newsletters that are very niche to your vertical, and even better than that, that specifically have breaking news recaps. So like CBS News, a lot of the mainstream news publishers have specific breaking news alerts, and those are a gold mine to go after. You know, like I said before, the seasonal event calendars, whether you use one internally, so we have Asana and we kind of just add to there, or there's dozens of other ones that I've linked here that other brands have put up. Basically, you just look into event calendars on Google and you'll find, or PR event calendars, you can find dozens of these, but they help you monitor kind of what's coming up that you can tap into. Also, there are so many great PR newsletters now that kind of distill what's working for everybody else. How can you replicate it? So one of my favorites is The Grapevine. I also saw another person share the PR Insider. Really great opportunities for finding PR. Okay, so last section. I hope you guys maybe have 5-10 minutes to stay over if we can. So PR, right? How do you scale all this great stuff now? You've produced really newsworthy content, and now you want to get it out there to the media, which is the hardest step, in my opinion, because publishers are just inundated with these pitches now. So I have maybe 3 or 4 slides on Lead Time, which is the AI-powered PR workflow that we've invested as a bootstrapped agency over the last 3 years to build. We're getting ready to release it in Q3. So follow along because this is freaking incredible and also terrifying. What this tool does is you basically put in a landing page, any type of content, a blog page, whatnot, a study, and you set a certain date range for publishers that you want to find that have written stories. And what it does is it uses semantic search to find out what journalists have author archives that are similar to the content that you're covering, both in the topical themes and the intent in the author archives. And what it does is immediately within like 3 seconds generates hundreds of relevant journalists that are very highly accurate to what you're pitching. So, you know, journalists will frequently say what the most frustrating thing is about PR people is they flood their inboxes with like press releases or like boring content or the same stuff, and it's not relevant to them. What this does is it ensures relevance because it's using AI to kind of scale that outreach and look at thousands of author archives to find what is most similar to you. The tool, what it also does, it allows you to analyze kind of trending news as it's happening. And really, so I can ask it a question like, I have a study on summer sexual trends between the US and the UK. It's always fun to have health clients. And so what I did is I asked it, you know, what are the trends in the UK versus the US on sexual health and wellness? And it quickly in seconds spat out a whole list of angles that I could now create 10 different pitch angles for my study as like a lead, right? The start of a story, the most interesting news hook in your story, a lead. So lead time, what it does is helps you analyze what are those angles that you can create in your pitch templates to scale your outreach. Because if you can identify relevant stories that are trending, that are different than yours, not identical, but similar, right, that you can build on, now suddenly you go from having 100 pitches to 10 different angles, 1,000 pitches, 500 pitches. You want to stay really relevant. So it's never a volume game, it's a relevance game when it comes to pitching. Another thing it can do is you can ask specific questions about very specific journalists. So you can identify someone in step 1 and say, okay, I want to give an exclusive to the person that has the best syndication. I think it's Kathy Donahue. Is it likely that if I offer her the exclusive, she will pick this study based on my landing page and what her author archives have versus what I'm sharing? And it will distill for you what the gaps are in her coverage, the tone of her writing style, the type of data she likes to feature, what you have that she hasn't covered that she would be interested in. It's incredible. It can also help you find similar journalists. So you can kind of say, okay, I like this one journalist over here. Show me ones that have similar author archives to this. You can spit out hundreds of other ones. So the point here is that whether it's lead time, whether it's Cision, Muckrat, Prowly, right? There's BuzzSumo, all of these tools are moving at lightning speed to integrate AI to help scale outreach. And what Fractal has done is used its 12 years as an industry leader in doing this work and all the templates and the variations that we've come up with that really drive effective coverage. And it helps you kind of use our approach with your content to develop pitches. And what it really does is it scrapes LinkedIn and Twitter profiles, X profiles, I'll never get there. And it kind of distills down all this really great info about the person as an individual, which is, to me, the most important thing in PR, is connecting as a human with another journalist, which is kind of funny because now AI can help you do it at scale in a way that you couldn't previously do. And so it kind of distills all this information, and then it helps weave it into the pitch. So as you're list building, you're adding all these people and all this information through the Q&A that you do, it will generate a pitch based on the stories it found that are most relevant to what you're pitching. It'll kind of create the angles that go beyond what that person covered and kind of show how your study builds on that. Just last week, what I did was put a landing page in, added a couple contacts, and it drafted the whole pitch, sent it, and it was Reuters. So there's so much potential for this. And I don't want the PR industry to be terrified of it, right? Because what it does is it enables you to now go out and actually build relationships, right? Spend more time on X or the other platforms where you can really get to know the journalists, spend more time asking them, what is it that you really love to cover? Or, build the relationship, do the part of the work that's the most fun. List building has always been the most tedious for us and for publishers. So now use these tools to help scale that in a way that you can scale personalization like never before. And the people that are resistant to it, I fear, will be left behind, right? I think there's a certain adoption curve. And if you've ever taken a marketing course, we're definitely in the innovator stage. But you want to be there in an early adopter before you get left behind on these tools, because the agencies and the companies that like these tools are going to just have, far exceeded the ROI of traditional approaches. And I think that's the biggest danger of people that may look at this and think, oh, it can't replicate a human. It's on an exponential curve of innovation. It's going to replicate a human. It already is. So here's another example. Go banking rates pitch, right? Found some relevant data that the person had wrote about, kind of distilled down what the stats are from our pitch that were the most newsworthy or surprising using all the research that we've done. Followed up immediately, asked for additional interview, got coverage within a week. Okay, so that's lead time. There's lots of ways for you to replicate this type of research using Claude, using GPT. Many of those tools have a $10, $20 a month option on them, because I know a lot of these PR tools can go for $15, $20 a year. We're definitely going to undercut that significantly. But in the meantime, right, in the next month or two, you can use GPT to do a lot of this research, right? So one of the best prompts that I'll use is, which journalist beats are most relevant to the campaign I'm pitching? And I'll include the URL. If it has trouble scraping that URL because you're using blockers, just copy paste the whole entire content into the platform and it'll analyze it for you. And what this does is it quickly analyzes all the relevant beats and all the relevant journalists that you could cover with your campaign, because the more angles you can identify, the more pitches you can get out, the more unique linking domains you can build. So I did this for my sexual health and wellness study, obviously health and wellness, lifestyle, dating, sex and sexuality, women's issues, men's health, culture, trends, psychology, technology, travel, right? Because we had a stat about, I think 20% of people travel for a romantic fling. So this is great, right? In seconds, it can tell me 10, 12 different angles I could go after. The next one is, what are the emerging trends? So in the same way that I did it in lead time, I can do it within GPT. I can be very specific. The longer you build these prompts, the more in-depth research you'll get. But my goal in this webinar is to show you how approachable it is, right? Because I think so many people look at technology and they think, oh God, that's terrifying. It's going to replace me. It's this army. It'll only replace you if you don't know how to use it, right? So learn how to use it to be more effective and you'll skyrocket your results. So instead of spending countless hours researching what's trending, you can just ask GPT, what's trending on X, Y, and Z topic or an X vertical, and it's going to spit out, relevant sources to the studies that are trending on your topic that could be relevant to you to do a study on, expand on, or to pitch. After I know the beats that I want to go after, the trending news that I could tie into my pitches, then I'm going to ask for a very specific journalist, right? So come up with a list of 20, 30, 50 high authority publishers that might be interested in covering my campaign. Please include, you have to be very specific, include a link to the author archives. Also include their email addresses if you can find them. Oftentimes it found the format, right? There's lots of tools like Rocket Reach, Hunter.io that you can use for email verification for low cost. But generally they all follow a similar format of like first period, last name at publisher, or first initial, last name at publisher. You can kind of BC some of them if you want to be not paying for a lot of tools, essentially. So this is a great example of how you can use GPT, right, to help you find publishers. And you don't ever, if you get an answer that doesn't represent what you want, don't stop there and think it just doesn't know how to do it. Typically, you might need to ask the question differently or tell it to explain to you what was the process it followed to get to that data, because that can help you identify where did it go wrong. And you can really edit and work on getting the final answer you want versus just looking at the first response and saying, oh, it doesn't know what I want, right? That's a huge mistake I think a lot of people are making right now. So what I did in one of these searches is I found 2 great journalists, right? And I said, okay, well, they both write for the same publisher. I'm not going to pitch them both the same campaign, at least not in the same day, maybe a week or 2 later if the first one doesn't respond. So I want to know which one of these is better, because generally they cover similar content. So I'll dump both their author archives in, or I'll scrape, the last 3 months of titles. And then I'll say, can you evaluate the author archives and which is better fit for my study? And then it quickly distills, okay, this person's clearly better for X, Y, and Z reason. Done in seconds. This is all time saved, increased ROI for you to do other activities that are even more impactful. Brainstorm subject lines. So this was a meat of the webinar here today. So I have a lot of examples here. So GPT, Claude, they're incredible for generating subject lines. It's probably one of the best things you can use them for, because it can create them in seconds. And subject lines will make or break you in an inbox. My biggest thing is I would never use just like a basic content title. So like whatever your study was, like I wouldn't use that, because generally so many other brands are doing similar studies. So you really have to hook into what new data or expertise do you have that's different than other people. So a lot of the subject lines we use have data in them to show we have something new to provide. So I will say, help me put together 10 subject lines using this data that would be most likely to elicit surprise, because I know from my viral marketing research, surprise is what leads to the greatest viral hooks, viral sharing. And that's how I can drive a journalist to open my email over somebody else's, because they read 6 to 10 words and they're like, ooh, that looks interesting. That's surprising. That's not something I already knew. So that prompt specifically having those words in it is key here. So, it pulled up 1 to 10 adults plan to have 3+ sexual partners this summer. I'm like, that's pretty surprising. 3, that seems like a good number for some people. Americans, 33% more likely to be single than Britons. So, there's a UK versus US angle I can go after to pitch Daily Mail, Telegraph, all those sites. Lots of other stats here. So use GPT to brainstorm subject lines for specific writers. So this is even better. When you can mimic the writer's headline style with your subject line, they can immediately see the potential for their story to come to life, right? And they know that you've done a lot of research on their archives to be mimicking them. So they respect that. So outdoor encounters, the summer sex trends you didn't see coming. Morning glory, why 40% of Brits prefer early romances. So these mimicked a specific writer that I gave them, it's a person now, all of her headlines, and then it mimicked that with my specific research. You can also do regional. So regional is a great way to scale your brand coverage. If you have data that is either US versus UK or one country versus another or one town versus another. We do a lot of, in the US, state-based campaigns. So we'll have data on, Los Angeles versus Miami versus New York City. And each one of those metros has, dozens of authoritative publishers. Generally, there's syndicates at like CNBC, ABC, Fox. They all have regional publishers as well as their national ones. So anytime you can have regional data in your subject lines, it's key, especially when you're pitching those regional publishers. So that's a great way to scale it. You can also come up with stats for men versus women, because there's tons of men's and women's lifestyle publishers. And to me, they're some of the easiest ones to break into because they like more fluffy content, right? More rigorous publishers like health and psychology are a bit harder. They have to adhere to those EAT guidelines, right? So quickly kind of distills for me male versus female stats. This would have previously taken me hours to go through all these different types of angles. And what I can do now is just look at 10 at a time, pick my best ones, tell it to pick the best ones. It's your own personal PR assistant that is very sophisticated. Generational differences do really well on a lot of publishers. So, for the longest time, it was everybody riding on millennials, and now it's Gen Z stats are really starting to become mainstream. Boomers will always be huge because there's so many of them. So figuring out how to distill your data into generational hooks and going after writers that specifically cover generational hooks. There's thousands of them. And in closing, thank you for bearing with me over these last 9 minutes over. When you have expertise that typically when you go to pitch a campaign, they want some sort of interview. Maybe you're strapped on time or you don't feel that confident or you're having a hard day and you just want some inspiration. GPT and Claude are incredible for coming up with great quotes that you as the expert can then edit and paraphrase into your own words or add additional data to make it more custom and unique. The key here is, yes, journalists don't want like regurgitated AI crap. So you need to refine your prompt to make sure it's giving you authoritative sources, unique information, right? So I'm saying share unique tips. They aren't widely known. Find authoritative sources to reference and link those sources for me. Preferably don't include competitors, right? So maybe link nonprofits or industry associations or .gov sites, non-commercial entities. And then quickly, I'm suddenly an expert in expat taxes, right? And I've got a lot of authoritative sources. I can then draft this quote for my client, send it over to them to approve. 9 out of 10 times they approve with minimal to no edits. And then we get coverage on major sites. So the point here today is I could spend hours. Clearly, I had to run through this 1 hour myself on any of these topics. You just have to play around with these tools more, learn how to use them, continue to edit your prompts, ask additional questions when it's not giving you the output you want. And there's just so much potential. And there's going to be so many new tools hitting the market every week right now. So staying in tune with what's out there is going to really help you stand out as a brand in a lower cost way than you ever could have done before. Yeah, so go ahead. I was looking at the questions now, other ones I might have missed. AI definitely makes mistakes. It's important you're asking it for sources of truth. So on the example I shared at the end, referencing .gov or associations, really authoritative sources is a great way to help ensure that it's sharing factual information. You definitely want to be fact checking along the way. And weaving your prompts in to say, make sure you're pulling from the data that I have here or giving it a spreadsheet of your data even better. Go ahead, Alina. I don't know if you had other questions that you already spotted.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say, wow. I just can agree with Helen. I didn't expect it would be packed with so many practical tips, examples, ideas, actionable things. I bookmarked several things, and I'll definitely rewatch the recording just to make sure if I haven't missed anything. Thank you very much. So I can see that you covered all the questions. Shall we devote several minutes for questions? Maybe our viewers have other questions. And meanwhile, there are a couple of questions I would like to ask. What are some pitfalls to avoid when integrating AI into a digital PR strategy?
Yeah, I think the biggest pitfall is expecting the first answer to be exactly what you wanted. Really taking the time to work with it as if it is your PR assistant and say, give it feedback. If it gave you certain data and you thought maybe, I've definitely seen this before, right? Where I gave it all the tweets for the journalist analysis that I did on the hashtags that were used. And one of the stats just seemed like really off. And so, I'll say, please go back through the data analysis and look for outliers and remove them, right? And that can be a major thing that sometimes like you as a person, when looking at the raw data in front of you would do, but you forget when you're working with an AI that those things can be in there that you want to edit out, right? My business partner, Kristen Tinsky, is at the bleeding edge of AI. She gained access to GPT years before it was released to the public because she had started a nonprofit in 2020. And so that got her foot in the door. And so she is a wizard and has put a lot alongside her brother, Dan Tinsky, into building these technologies. And one of the tips that she said to me was that when you're working with it, especially on data analysis, one of the things you can do, and this should be a whole separate webinar, is like using AI to create content, because that's, a huge topic too, is you tell it to have one agent act like the creative strategist, and you're a top-down, bottom-up, lateral thinker, and all the traits you would want in a creative strategist or data journalist. You can look up these job descriptions and give it that information, and then say your second agent is a scrupulous editor and cares greatly about fact checking and source accuracy and wants everything sourced line by line and needs a clear explanation of your process. And then what happens is they work as two agents together under one umbrella to create really interesting content, but also fact check it along the way, right? And that's where agents really become way more powerful than just a single question. It's when you can have two AIs working together to create research and edit it down for you. So really, it comes down to your prompting and making sure that you're giving it a prompt to know what to look out for, what to check for. And the data accuracy is one of the biggest things. So kind of weaving those two things into that prompt is really key to ensuring your study accuracy. And also asking about the process, because then you can spot mistakes.
Yeah, thank you. Makes sense. And my second question about some predictions, maybe. What future developments in AI should PR specialists be preparing for now? Or maybe how developing of AI can impact PR processes?
I think the people that are really embracing AI technologies, even the most simplest ones, like get a Claude membership, get a GPT membership. Sometimes Claude can do things GPT can't. So it's worth having, a combined $20, $40 a month budget for some of those tools, because of the fact that they can scale so much of your job and make you so much more efficient. And I think right now, if I were an employee, I would be sinking my teeth into all of the tools that are out there and all the ways that I can use them to do the most mundane parts of my job, the most tedious parts that take me the most time, that aren't the most enjoyable, that it can be more difficult, like data analysis, list building, figure out how to use those tools to be more efficient. Because a year from now, the people that have adopted this technology will be the people, that get the 10, 20 grand raises, that still have a job, right? That aren't fired. Because you can see in our industry, especially in SEO and marketing, AI will replace a lot of jobs for people that don't adopt it. It'll replace a lot of mundane tasks. But if you can stay ahead of the curve and use it to be more efficient, to be more innovative. So don't be afraid of it. Embrace it, really.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. So it looks we've addressed all the questions. As we near the end of our session, I want to turn to you, Kelsey. Is there anything you'd like to add or emphasize before we wrap up?
I think what I would emphasize is there's a ton of strategies, right? I have a huge team behind me that pursues each one of these strategies. If I were a small business, an independent sole proprietor, right? What I would do is start with the strategies that have low to no cost, right? So expert quotes are one of the best ones to go after. Monitoring those journalist hashtags for journalists that might be looking for your expertise in your specific vertical, and do that on like a daily basis. It takes 5 to 10 minutes. There's lots of tools that can automate it for you in this deck. And really starting your day there, I think, is one of the best ways to get that coverage. Quoted is one of the highest ROI platforms for that type of opportunity, in my opinion. So that's a great tool if you're going to get one to start there. And then from there, research doesn't need to be extremely costly. You can do smaller surveys. Oftentimes what I see is that teams sometimes struggle with really honing in on what the most newsworthy question would be. Like, what is going to produce the most newsworthy, surprising stat for you? And if you approach it from that lens, really filter down to what are the most 5 interesting questions that allow me to tap into different demographic data, that allow me to tap into, regional angles or generational angles. And just a few questions on any number of survey platforms can generate major headlines for less than $100. And the ROI from those headlines is massive, both in the SEO value, the brand engagement, brand awareness, and just the signals that you need for your site and your brand really to be relevant in today's marketplace, I think. So don't always think of it as, oh God, this is so expensive, I can't ever possibly do it. There's so many strategies in this deck that you can just start with one, right? So start with the quotes, start with small surveys, and go from there, grow from there.
Yeah, I like it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Guys, be sure to connect with Kelsey on LinkedIn. The link is in the live chat, and follow Sendpulse on social media to stay connected. And once again, a big thank you to all of you for joining us today, for your participation. It means a lot to us. Stay tuned to our social media for updates on future webinars and events. We'd love to have you join us again. Here is a question. Shall we answer? I want to hear your opinion on content creation with AI and SEO. Does it work? Have you had success with clients?
Yeah, so this is definitely a hot topic in our industry right now. It's very interesting to me. In the last 2 to 3 months, I actually just took over our sales workflow for the first time in our business, and I'm loving it. It's, I'm able to use my PR skills and my industry experience in a very different way. And I'm also on the front lines of hearing these type of questions from people that are willing to invest in our strategies, but maybe have hesitations around the AI capabilities that are out there now. So what I would say is there are a lot of tools that are going to regurgitate really low quality, thin content. And I would not use a lot of them because they will not add value to the SERPs and you will get nailed. I saw some sites in my audits through the sales process of competitors where domains very clearly added, 1,000 pages in a month, and their traffic was like 20 to 50K, and then it zeroed out within like a month or 2 later. It was really tragic. And you can easily identify those pages that they created and how they were thin. So I would caution against spending a lot of money on tools that say they do that. And if you do use them, I would make sure that you're adding, those EAT principles of firsthand experience, personal stories, expertise, data to supplement that original output. That way, it stands out as maybe more than just AI produced. So I wish I would have included the slide. I have it in my Meet Fractal deck, but I saw Danny Sullivan speak in Q4 at Brighton SEO in San Diego. And he's one of the head Google search liaisons between the industry and the algorithm. And what he said is that, I wish I had the quote right here to say it, but essentially Google is not going to penalize AI content. What they're going to penalize is crappy AI content in the same way that they're going to penalize crappy freelance writer content, right? Like, you need to create the most robust, authoritative, detailed guides or research on something, and that's going to be rewarded. Whether or not it was created by AI or a human, they don't care at the end of the day. What they are there to do is rank really quality content. So always approach it from that lens. And, you know, anybody can easily spot when an AI article is generated and it's like 2 sentences and then 1 bullet and then like 1 headline, 2 sentences. It's really thin, right? It's really not talking in first person. There's a lot of other signals, whole nother webinar. What I would say is, so Kristen, right, one of my co-founders, has been working over the last few years to create a agentic AI pipeline. So essentially, it's multiple agents stacked on top of each other to produce research that is very robust. And the way it goes about it is, you know, essentially being able to ask 20 to 50 questions on any given topic, scraping all of that top ranking content for that vertical. Its goal is to learn the most it can about any given topic that it wants to write about. So it'll scrape anywhere from like 150,000 words. It'll distill it down into like a 10,000 word outline. And then from that, it'll further distill down and then build back up a really custom article. And what that does is it allows you to tap into, you know, all of everything that's existing online. And then, you know, what we do is our editors will then go in and add first person experience, case studies, research. And that type of methodology, I think, is going to be the future of content creation. It's already happening. Like, we already have several clients who are using it. Just started piloting with their clients in May. So I'll have case studies probably by the end of the quarter on this. I would say 50% of people are super eager to see the cost savings and the ROI of it, especially with tools that can go beyond just like content regurgitation. And 50% of people are like, I'm going to let somebody else do that case study before I'm going to touch it. Now, keep in mind, those people are going to have a head start. I think it depends on the size of your site, your publishing cadence. I generally would say I wouldn't publish more than, for the average site, maybe 10, 20 AI pages in a month. Look at what your regular publishing cadence is and determine it from there. But, you know, stay within a realistic publishing cadence, produce content that is really robust, you know, 1,000, 2,000 words, not really thin. Look to add the expertise, add the data. And I think this content's going to be the future of a lot of what agencies like ours and domains are doing and brands are doing by the end of this year.
Yeah. Thank you for such a comprehensive answer and point of view from different angles. Thank you, guys. If you have any other questions related to the topic, related to the PR, just feel free to reach out to Kelsey via LinkedIn, via the email here on the slide. If you have any questions about Sendpulse, our events, feel free to send messages via our social media or our website and live chat there. Thank you once again, and we are going to finish the session, but we'd love to have you join us again. Thank you, Kelsey. Thank you very much for your insight. Thank you, guys, for being here, and I wish you all a wonderful week ahead. Goodbye and take care.
Bye, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Glad that you decided to join me. Today I will tell my story, actually tell the story of my online school, how we get from 10K to 70K in 18 months. And this is first time I'm sharing this information, so I want to thank you, Sendpulse team, to empower me, because mostly I'm invited for such event, but share something about freelancing, about the marketing, about automation, about digital stuff. And this basically my first experience to sharing my experience as a founder of online school. And I'm quite excited to be here. A bit about myself. I'm a marketing automation expert. I have an online agency where we help people to automate the process. And this is basically how started my history as a teacher, because like 7 years ago when I started in marketing automation field in Ukraine, there weren't any expert, and I really struggled to find some people to join my team. And yeah, this is how it turned into another great business, and this is something I will tell you today. Yeah, so already I taught more than 150 students. We founded 2 communities with more than 200 experts in marketing automation in no-code field, and also 70,000 students were enrolled to our mini programs. Today I want to discuss the common pitfalls, how we what problem we met on our journey, how we solve it, some strategy and tips that help us increase the sales in 2-3 times and more. History, nice history about the video from the car that made us more than 300,000 in sales, and also how we hold different situation with the team when we had some crisis and so on. To highlight some results, we grew up for the last 2 years. We grew up team from 5 to 29 people. Our students won an international no-code hackathon. And we launched for this period of time 4 main courses and also 4 mini courses. We created new niche here in Ukraine. So more than 60% of top-rated experts from Eastern Europe, if you check on the marketplace, on the freelance marketplace, are our students. Overall, our students made 2 million on the Upwork only, which is the biggest freelance platform, if you know, because we are really closely checking the result of our students to make sure that we really provide results. And just a short story how it started. As I started already, I didn't start this business I didn't plan to start as a big business. I didn't plan to start it to make money. The main reason for me is just to wait to prepare some people that could join my agency and can work with me. So this is like what the best way I found to teach some people and pick up the best talent to join my agency. And first 3 years, it was more like a hobby for me. To find people to my agency, to create some people that we share knowledge with, create a community. And after 3 years, we had small community, and this is how we start the community of automation experts. We meet each other, we share information, and on one of this meeting, happened one event that changed everything. So one of my students came to me and he thanked me, and he was appreciated and told me that this course changed his life completely, because he was a lawyer and he tried to make a different kind of business and couldn't make it. But after course, he got really great results, and he understand that he got much more opportunities. And this is, for me, it was so, touchful. I understand that this possibility to run online courses is not only about the business, about the sharing information. It's also about the changing people's lives. So I was thrilled, to change even more life, and I start to thinking how to scale. And this all begin from that point, because previously all my previous launches, they started as just webinars, regular webinars, live webinars, and it was mostly on my Facebook from people, friend of mine from the Facebook. We also tried to run some advertisement, but we didn't get much traction. And I understand that I understood that I want to scale, but I also understood that I'm not ready to, to run hundreds of webinars, and I understood that I need to find another way, something better way to scale, to have more students. As a result, more people life that I can change. So first of all, my idea was to find someone already proficient in the selling of online courses, some marketers. Here in Ukraine, we often call them producer because they actually help with to launch the. They help to launch online courses. They know how to do it, and this is something you can give someone. And while you're working on the product, on the delivery of the education. And that's how it happened in my case. I found one marketer. He provided me like easy idea that I like it, but even having like $100 or $200 per advertisement, you can test the offer first. You can see if it's working, if you can get subscribers, if you can get relevant leads who are interested in your product. So we started with the first step with a simple video. And if you only on the beginning and you think what to start from, I would definitely recommend you to start with the same way, just to record the simple video, 20, 30, 40 minutes. You can check more details in the internet, like searching for the video sales letter or checking the Russell Brunson funnels. He's one of the most known and expert in this niche. So yeah, we recorded only one video. We started testing some advertisement, some creatives, like 3 or 5, just to make sure that we have a good offer, just to make sure that people understand our offer and they want to subscribe. We also see like how much it would cost us to get 1 subscribers, 1 lead, 1 sales. And then after we got our first 400 subscribers, we made our first live webinar, which was quite good because next day we got 70 application registration to our courses, and then online course, and then next day we got like 5,000 in sales with the 300 ad spends, which is like great result. And we understand that our offer is good. We can sell it, and this is like the proof that we can start growing, selling the course, and making business on it. So at this stage, you need only very simple tech stack, because basically what we started is just the web page for the video, chatbot to collect subscribers, and simple CRM where we send the people who leave the registration. And this is how it looks like. Actually, just one simple page, nothing fancy, and some text that say like, just click a button, we already started. So this is something you really like, is quite enough. If you worry about if it's complicated to start with online courses, it's not complicated. It might be that easy. And it was our first funnel. So definitely we start with the MVP approach, just to test something simple, make sure it's offer, make sure that we have a good offer, that we have a good messaging, and then grow from this. So basically, first funnel for us is just a video page later. Then we have opt-in form, and when people was watching like this video, on the 30 or 35 minutes, we show them pop up, and offer them some lead magnets, some very useful information for them. And we started collecting their emails, their contact details, and also another offer to sign up for the course, fill the application. And yeah, we have a basic website as well. So this was our first funnel that made for us like our first 20 or 25,000 within the first launch. And as a result, this video, it was, even though if you worry about the quality of the video, about the sound, about the light, it's also all important stuff. But this video I recorded after it was about 11 p.m. I was very tired after the swimming pool, but I didn't at the time. I didn't have any other quiet place to record the video. So I decided to do it in my car. So I just put a lighter on my phone and record it on the laptop. That's all. So it was really easy and cheap setup. But overall, if you give a great content, if you passionate about the topic, if you can, share your emotion with it, it would work, because people mostly need a great content and not the picture. So this was our first funnel. We run also live webinars. So we collected the video sales letter, which gave us some subscribers and leads. And then we also ran 2 webinars. Second webinar gave us like 10,000 in the sales. And later, the good option about the webinar, later we would turn this webinar to the evergreen and just run it automatically without needs me to be always live and present and tell the same story every time. Overall, for the first month, for the first launch, we spent about $2,200 on traffic, and our sales was about 27K, which is like more than 900 ROAS. Yeah, and for the first launch, our team was just me as a main speaker, marketer, who is now my partner, and we're working together for the last 2.5 years. And we had one salesperson and one tech person who helped with all the technical stuff, set up pages and webinar room and etc. Yeah, and second stage, this launch was quite successful. So we the main challenge is to repeat it and make it the constant profit, make it repeatable every month. So, but we faced the issue that we received a lot of refunds requests, more than 10%, and I believe that normally it should be above the 5%. And we try to understand why it's happening, and we realized that most people who bought the online course, they didn't understand where they get to. They just they went to the advertisement, webinar, but still didn't get the profession that what we shared with them, and so that was the main reason. So we decided to solve it with trying to give them some trial, so they could try the profession first, and we created the mini course, which is as a starter or the trial for the main course. We made 3 simple lessons, and with the practical task, so people could go through the steps, follow my instruction in the video, made their first funnels, and then decide if they like this and if they want to learn more. So as a result, they get a better understanding. This was actually the funnel. It was we ran through the live funnel, which is a 7-day mini course, and we had 2 live events. First day, webinar when we told more about the niche, about the field, about the marketing automation. Then we told about the perspective, about what result they could get, and invited to just to go through our mini course and learn. Then on the day 7, we had another webinar when we tried to convert them to the main course for those people who completed mini course and was ready to to work with us further. So, and every day, basically with every lesson, we had a broadcast campaign for all subscribers to invite them to the next day, to the next lesson. So as you can see, it's also simple funnel, nothing fancy, and it worked very well for us. As a result, we got more relevant students because they already understand the field, this marketing automation niche, and we didn't have to sell them something because they already know it, and they was much more ready. They just basically asking how to pay for the course. So this is also worked out for us very well, and we closed second month with the good results. But then I would say the third stage, after we repeat success with the first launch, then war started in Ukraine, and it affected us very much because our audience was the Ukraine only. And at that point, the 40% of the country located either to Europe or western part of Ukraine, and all activities stopped. So the first months of the war, our main focus was just to support students, because some people were scared and frustrated, and they had much more to do than study. So our main goal and effort was just to return them to the education, trying to support them, trying to for them to continue, because at this point our product become even more actual than previously, because lots of people lost their home or work, and they started to think about new opportunities, how to live further. And our education provided basically for them the new profession, new opportunities, how they can work remotely with the clients from all over the world. So that's why we try to do our best to continue the process. But definitely our sales went down from the 25K to 3K, and we need to start everything from the zero. During this month also we had a problem with the Facebook as a manager, because Facebook advertisement was our main source of the leads. So most of our sales we got through the Facebook ads, and Facebook blocked a couple of our accounts. We tried to set up new, but we got blocked again. And this is also was a problem for us that we tried to solve. So but we already had a great product. We already had the great team. So we really put lots of effort to to recover. For this, we created new Facebook accounts, and then we changed it to traffic managers, people who run Facebook advertisement, and finally we found the good traffic manager who had a really super relevant experience of selling the similar product. And after we start working with them, our ads account never got blocked again. So this was the good decision. And second right decision that helped us, we relaunched our mini program, and more like a simulator, so that people could try working with the client exactly, not just follow some steps, but we build our mini course in the simulator. We had a real client who had some project, and you need to complete this project. This is your task. You need to complete it in 1 or 2 days. So it was really, make it really we created lots of engagement for the people, and people start more active, and we got some traction from there too. And another great decision, we hire a moderator for this mini program, who made the activity in the chats, in the groups, who help people, and this has also helped us to return activities with our educational program. And as a result, after 3 months of struggling, after 3 months of working, for zero almost, all this worked out, and in June we got profitable again. And this is something that, okay, now we still have a product that people need. We still have a team that can help people, and still people need this product. So we start working on the online course again. And second big stages for us, for our growth, is become the sales and sales team particularly, because at the beginning we started with the first sales representative, and like if you have common schema, in our experience, one sales person can sell the product up to $20,000 or $30,000. So at this level, you might need 1 or 2 salespeople, but if you want to sales more, you probably need to think about the more people. Also, was important in the sales automation. This is something that tools like Sendpulse or other marketing automation tools could be really helpful and make it much more easier. And I will show some also tricks that help us. So, and first of all, why to have the salesperson? I know I'm working with the clients from US, from UK, and mostly people try to sell online courses without any people, just fully automatically. And it's definitely good. When you have the system, when you don't need much people, but still there is lots of cons if you have the salesperson, because you first of all you get instant feedback. So as soon as you get new leads, salespeople start chatting with them, calling with them, and you get really instant feedback for the marketing team. And like you can get the insight in no time about is our advertisement does great job or not, because sales team also give a constant feedback like, okay, this time, like this week, leads are not very relevant or not really good. They are not ready to buy, and they just clicked by the accident. And this is important for you to be fast enough to change, to pivot your ads, to restart campaigns, maybe to change the pixel or change something in your advertisement, your marketing, to get relevant leads. Because if you have a wrong audience, your sales won't be good. Then second important thing to have the salesperson, they when you start, they basically do the what marketing should do, like marketing research, but they do it constantly, and they get pain and gains of the customers who subscribed, who sign up for our course. And knowing this pain and gains, you can change a lot in your marketing, in your message you send to your potential clients, because you know what they want, and you know what they're afraid of. So this is also very helpful. And also having a salesperson allowed to increase conversion rate. Conversion to sales. And like you can sell definitely fully automatically without the salesperson, but with the salesperson, it might be 3, 4, 5 times conversion rate better. And the time of decision making is much more, it reduced the time for purchase decision from the 3-6 months to 2 or 4 weeks, which is also really good, especially when you start. So also we did some sales automation, and was important because we start getting more and more subscribers, more and more leads. But if you have hundreds of thousands leads, it's not clear what leads should we reach out first. So we set up lead scoring, which is provide additional points for every interaction with our funnels, with our website, with our emails, with our messages. And then if salesperson need to decide who should I call first, we just check the lead scoring. And instead of having the 1,000 of the similar leads, he just pick up 10 of the most warm leads and start calling them. So it's, that it allows you to focus on the people who are the most interested in your product and who are the most engaged. And second automation we set up is a visitor automation. So probably when people lost or they ghosted for a while and they stopped to read you or stopped to reply to you, it doesn't mean they lost the interest for the product. They just might get some, another thing to do. And for us, it was clear that the best way to contact people who got lost when they again start reading our emails, when they again start to watching our videos or visit our website. So we set up automation, and whenever user who was unreached or who lost for a while back to our website, we send instant message to our salesperson, and he started calling because it was the best time to call, because they already on our website, they checking our product, checking about our company, etc. This is something also was helpful. And last one we set up on at the beginning, we had the webinars, evergreen webinars, live webinars. So we set up additional automation whenever attendee was watched more than 50% of our webinar, we automatically send his detail to our CRM system. So sales representative could also contact with them, because we found out that people who stay more than 50% on the webinar were very relevant, very interested in our product. Also, we set up some additional tricks like installment payment, because normally we do it from the bank when different bank and financial institution allow people to split the payment for the 3, 4, 5 part. But not all of our students could get it from the banks. And this is also something we get constantly communicating with our prospects. So when we set up installment payment from the school, we also get additional payments for those who couldn't pay another way. So this is how it started. And this is on the right side of the presentation. You can see the sales. So I put the date and also months and also the sales, so you can understand also what we did and how it affected our sales, because it's important to to understand how this two things related. So second stage where we got, I would say, in trouble. After trying to do a lot of effort, put in the marketing, trying different campaigns, different messages, after some period, we understand that our salesperson, he does the great sales, but we understood that he make more money than we, two of partners, two of founders, because her earning was on commission based. And we did lots of effort to make good marketing, to provide warm and relevant leads. And we find out that he worked only with the hot and warm leads, and didn't work much with the old database, not trying to warm up them, not trying to do some additional steps, and didn't want to cooperate much with the other team members. So we decided that, like, we understood that we need to change this, and we start to communicate more with our moderator of this mini course, because mini course was the main funnel for us to get the new clients. And all of the students, they were in the touch with our course moderator. And we start digging deep with what's happening. We understand that our salesperson sometimes forgot about the students, didn't do a great job anyway. And we also find out that some of the students, they who passed our mini courses, they already want to buy. And there is no any, doesn't make any sense, to contact them with the salesperson, because basically they need only the link to buy it, and that's all. So we agreed with this moderator just to give him additional commission, and this is also worked out very well, because the moderator become more, motivated to provide the good services. And when our students on our first trial mini course get good services, they were more interested to buy the main product. So this is work out for us. We save on the commission of the salesperson. We provide a better service for the students. We got better sales, but also we got the conflict between sales representative and this moderator, because sales rep decided that he lost his money because the start moderator, and this is something we need to deal as well. But we didn't know how to solve this problem yet, so we just got back to the marketing, something that we knew how to do, and we put some effort to do better marketing, make some offers, some messages, run better campaign, etc. And postpone the situation with the sales, because we didn't know basically how to resolve it, and we were very dependent on the salesperson because he made most of the sales anyway. So at this point we started to experiment with the one-time offers with the deadlines, and we've seen great results. So every month, in the end of the month, we start sending the campaign to all our database with some additional offers. We provide some additional stuff, like you buy courses, you get additional products from us, and it was available only for some limited period of time. Then we also test some additional channels for the marketing, and some topic-based groups worked really well for us. We get 400 or 500 ROAS from these channels as well. So it's something that allows us increase our sales. We did some contextual marketing, because in Ukraine it was a blackout period. People basically had 2 hours of electricity per day, and they still need to find time for their, for their job, for their work, and still we need to convince them somehow to learn. And some contextual marketing really help us to support people and get back to the learning process. And after a while, we still struggle with the scaling with the sales, because we understand we are really limited with the one salesperson, and we really dependent on his behavior. So we started thinking how we can scale our sales, how we can resolve the situation and not be dependent only on one person and condition with this person. So we invited the sales expert who already had experience to work with the online school, selling for the 100,000 in the month, and we just asked her to do the audit of our sales scripts, of the sales process, and everything we have in our basically in our sales process, because I wasn't the salesperson, my partner neither. So we need someone who really expert to understand how do the sales in right way. And so it was we got lots of insight from her job, and he basically show us the plan how with the same marketing effort we can get 3 times more in sales. And so we decided to hire this person to build sales processes for us, right processes, because it's really important to scale, and also solve the situation when we have only one salesperson and really depend on his mood. And then we start lots of different processes. We start building the processes. We hire new salesperson. We rebuild some processes. We build new motivation system for sales. And from one hand, we know we were doing a right thing, but from another side, from another side, we also start getting trouble with our team, because while we with my partner start thinking about how to scale, how to grow our team, how to launch new products, our old salesperson start doing some shady thing on the background, communicating with our team members, and starting doing some rumors about the all changes we're trying to do in our company is for like bad things for everyone. And we were busy with launching new product, new courses, but then also we got in the situation when with the mood in our team was not really good. And I got this information from project manager. He told me like, hey, something wrong happened with the team. They behave weird. They communicate weird. They work in not the best way they can, and like not in the way they were previously working, basically. So we start speaking with the team. And basically, the sales person we had, old one, he didn't want to work with the new rules, with the new head of sales, and he actually not decided to leave the company, but he also decided to destroy our team, our company, just because he was very angry. Because someone came and started, working in his field. He was very unhappy, and it turned that we lost loyalty of many of team members because they trust this person. While I was, trying to move from one country to another, trying to build a new product, I didn't pay attention much to the situation in the company, and basically I was 2 or 3 weeks out of the communication with my team. And when I got back, it's turned out that the situation in team was really bad. So we spent about 2 weeks just sort this out, trying to speak with the whole team, understand what's happening, understand the position, explain them from our point of view what we are doing. And it was kind of late. So in the result, 3 person left. It was very hard emotionally. I needed like 2 months to renew emotionally and overcome this situation. But some good news anyway. During the months, we launched our new mini course for our database, because we had already like big database in our email platform, in our chatbot platform. We had about 20 or 30,000 subscribers, and we had a community already of hundreds or couple of hundreds of our previous students. And we always communicate in the community what they need, or what our students need, what the automation experts need. So we decided to launch new product, No Code Developer, and we launched it through the mini course. And it worked out very well because we didn't spend on the marketing budget on the advertisement. We just did this launch to our database. So we sold for 5K just mini course for $20 or $30. And this was also the trial product. And then we sold the main product, No Code Developer, for 18K. So this was like, while we had the trouble with the team, we still got some money with the new product. And this allow us, to have some windows, some options to work this situation and find a way out. So we started to grow in our team because we got some additional sales. We hired new marketer. We hired student success manager who should provide you better service for our students. We hired new sales persons. We again rebuild the processes. We start communicating more with the people, with the team. We start communicate more clearly about our goals, what we're doing, why we are doing, and explain everything. And then we also we implemented end-to-end analytics. So because we start doing lots of activity, lots of new people, but still want to have a focus on the main numbers, on the main numbers that allow us operate to be profitable. And also we launched the new plan because on our course we have like 3 different plans, and we started the new one, which is Mastermind, which is like group coaching for our students for those who want to get results. And also end-to-end analytics really help us to see main numbers like our sales, ROAS, like main conversion from subscribers to leads, from leads to sales, etc., which is also help a lot because I can spend 30 seconds in a day just to see if we are moving in the right direction, and not checking like dozens of instruments and tools to get this insights. And after a while, it worked out. We got new team, new products. We created some sandbox marketplaces for our students so they can work out with the projects. New team brought us new tests, new ideas, and we start selling more. At that point we got a sales team up to 5 people. Our new plan became the best seller, and it gave us more sales. And we also start with the formatting of our mini course because it still was our main, the funnel. So we launched new products, new mini courses, and it was for us also test the demand for some topics. So before we launch the product, we want to see if people interested in this product. So we launched the mini course first. We see the demand. We see if people want, if they enrolled to it, and only after this we launched the main product, which brought us additional sales. As a result, working with all these, sales processes, building sales team, after 9 months of working on this, we were able to triple our sales, almost triple. And definitely, as you can see on the chart, there was some good period, some bad period, but this was the right decision, and it allowed us, to grow. And some other results I want to share. Also, our students participated in 2 hackathons. One was the kind of biggest conference in Paris, one of the biggest no-code conference, and we decided to participate just to test if we give a good education for our students. And this turned out that one of the team from our students, they won this hackathon in the Paris. And the funny thing that I was also participant in this hackathon with my students, and my team basically lost another team of my students. So this is how I found out that I probably better teacher rather than expert in no-code development. So it was like, even I lost, it was, the sweet loss, because it's very good feeling to understand that your students have a great results and they can do really great stuff. And this something that I also learned, that this stuff, it's not directly give results in the sales, right? If you take a part in some competition, if you do some this type of activities. But anyway, somehow when we did these activities, we also get a spike. We get a hype in the sales, because when you do this stuff, all your team emotionally very, when they happy, when they believe that they working in a great team, when they sell the great product. In the result, all teams start working at the one mechanism, as one system, and emotionally they start doing great job, and it reflects also in sales in the end. So also we implemented extended NPS system. So we start listen more our students, gather detailed feedback about the materials in our courses, also about the communication, about the support, about everything. And this is also provide us some detailed feedback, how to rebuild our product, how to give more value to our customers, to our students. And at this time we got to the level like every month 10 new students start working with some clients, so they get their first results, and we start measuring at least this amount, so we could understand main results of our job. And this is also important for all team to understand that we here not just to make some sales, right? We here to provide a great value, a great result for our students, and this is like main North Star metric for us. So we understand that we are building some bigger than we, and that we are really doing a very valuable job. This is I just listed probably the main stuff, but also there was lots of different other activities. Like we did experiments with the webinars. We did lots of conversion rate optimization. We provided gamification in our mini courses. We provided possibility for our students to earn virtual coins, which they can transfer to the discount for the main course. So if you like, so we did lots of engagement for our students to complete the mini course that earn some points. You can change these points to discount, and this is, from one side is engagement for them, and another for them it's they are more interested to buy the main product. So we also hired the marketing analyst, because we had different traffic channels. We test lots of different stuff, so we need to understand like what result it bring up to us, and what should we continue to do, and what should be stopped. We also had three stages working with social media, and we tried with one social media social media expert. And even though we started our Instagram account starting to grow, but we didn't make much sales from this channel. Then after a while, we started working with another sales SMM manager, and we started getting some sales, but still it was really not that good. And then we started at the third try, we started with the SMM agency, and at this point, like the best months, we got 7,000 sales only from the Instagram. So it's like for us, it means that it makes sense to grow this channel, invest some offer to our Instagram account. Also, we tried cooperation with the local blogger, which is also got us great results. We got ROAS more than 500%, but we didn't find yet the way to do it at a scale, because you need to communicate. It's not that easy to scale this channel as it is with the Facebook ads, for example. And for this period of 2 years, we test different traffic managers. We change 4 or 5 people who run our ads. And because we find out that when they started working, they put lots of effort, they show you great results, but like month to month, they put less effort, for example, and your result also is become worse. So it makes sense to test somehow, to bring a new traffic manager, to split test them. Like we give a half of the budget to the one traffic manager, half of the budget to another traffic manager, and see who is resulted better, and then just continue to work with those one who provide better results. We also implemented a referral program, more like affiliates, because we find out that our students start to refer our program to other friends, families, and etc. So for us, it was the way to support in this way, to sharing about us information to the other, and this also provide us additional sales because people become more interested to share information about us. Also, we tried to launch the partner course, because the biggest problem right now that we have one course, we call it Locomotive, one main course that give us like 90% of our sales. And from one side, it's good to have this product, but from another side, it's very risky, because if this product stop to become profitable, we can lose everything. So our main effort this year is build, the 2 or 3 product that will provide us constant sales. So we won't be depend only on one product. And launching partner course is also one of the the way to find the product that that would work for us. So, and main point, it's all impossible without the people. I'm really happy to work with these people, and this is one of the for me, this is one of the biggest benefit to work with this company. I probably never thought I would have such a great team, and I'm really happy that this is my team, basically. So people that come to join to my product, who believe in what I'm doing, who help me, and who brought some their idea. And this is, I really, it's for me like a blessing to work with these people. So in some conclusion, as you can see, and I shared some main point, if you check this chart, you can see there is some period of spikes. There is some period when we troll back. There was a 3 period at least when we were almost not profitable. We had a team crisis, and but and at the end of the day, I never like it. For me, it's like best experience to work with this team, and it's turned out that this business so far is my most successful business, and there is lots of learn from this process as well, and I really enjoy this process because we test a lot, we launched a new product, we create something that never exists, and this is for me probably I really appreciate it to all this, my path with the online courses, because it's gave me something that I couldn't get from any other experience. And just some conclusion how our main funnels are looking now. So we still have our video sales letter, which is really simple funnel with one video with a simple call to action to collect people contacts, to provide them some warm-up video and lead magnets, then collect some registration on our website. Then we have a 7-day challenge. So our mini course was turned to the 7-day challenge because this format working now in the best way. And we combined this funnel also with the after webinar funnel, evergreen webinar, basically. So they started 7-day challenge, and on the 5th day we invite them to visit the webinar, and it's made in the ever webinar, which is allow us to make it as almost look like a live webinar. We also have a moderator on this webinar, so our moderator come to the evergreen webinar and check all questions, reply all all questions, and make it as much the look like a like. Also, we get additional hooks. So people from the challenge get discount for the main product. People who watched the more than 50%, they are getting instantly to the CRM system, and our sales team start calling them instantly. Also, for people who couldn't attend, we send the recorded version of the webinar. So again, it's a relatively simple funnel, but it worked for us. It allows us, to grow. And third part of our activities, maybe it's not the part of the funnel, but every month we have some automated campaign and some broadcast campaign. Automatic campaign is basically for those who who just subscribed to us like months or two months ago. So they relatively fresh, and we start to sell them course automatically as much as possible, because we also find out with analytics that like 60% of our monthly sales, it is from the cold traffic for those who just subscribed this month. So our main goal to make this, that period of decision as much shorter as possible in making during the first months. And then if people didn't convert to the sales, we just get them to the normal database, and we start some broadcast campaign. We have different event. We invite experts. We every month we have some topic to share for our community, for our database as well, for our subscribers. Also, we have every month we have call with one of our students, like a success story. They share their results with others, which working also very good. Sometimes we have every month we have a launch new cohort of the group for our education, and sometimes we make it like open webinar, not a webinar, but it's called with the students, but we also translate it to the YouTube, so anyone from our subscribers can join our first lesson with the new cohort, and they can see what's happening in our course, so they can feel more and understand if they want to join. Basically that's it. Our technical stack is we spend about 2,000 monthly because we like to, as automation and integration expert myself, I like to test different tools. So it makes maybe things more complicated than it should be. So overall, we have about 10 different tools. We integrated to each other. We have a website, we have a chatbot builder, we have a mail automation platform, we have a CRM system, we have some tools to integrate all tools between each other. We have custom integration with the payment gateway. We have some internal tools built for our team or for our students, so they can, like a customer portal, like a marketplace as well, different stuff like this. Also, we have webinar platform, video hosting, we have a learning management system, we have some tools for report and analytics, we have project management tools, we have team communications like a Telegram, so it's like big zoo of different tools. But the big shout out to Sendpulse team, because they basically provide all of this, like most of this in one platform. So if you're thinking to, where to start, which tools to use, and how to make it easier, I would definitely recommend you to start with the Sendpulse, because they basically give you everything you need to sell online courses, to set up automation, to set up CRM system, etc. And some technical issues we got. The main one that you probably should be aware of, we had a problem when our payment gateway was shut down due to regulation issues, and like we for one or 2 weeks. No, actually no, they were closed for 2 probably months, and it took our one week just to to switch to another payment gateway, and I believe we lost about 5,000 in sales just because this issue. So if you plan to use some payment gateway, just make sure you have at least 2. So if one is shut down, you can switch to another one and you can accept the payment, because it's really painful when you understand that people want to buy and they want, you made so much effort for them to want to buy, and then they just couldn't pay. Also, we use some tools, Russian tools, and definitely after war started, we need to change it. And now I know that most of people had a problem with these tools because they use some servers, and this tools is degraded much. So and basic maybe recommendation just for the website health. Set up monitoring. There is lots of useful tools that allow you monitor that your pages and your website is alive, because it's also very unpleasant situation that you run lots of advertisement, bring lots of traffic to your pages, and then for some period they just went down, and you might even not know about this. So it's easier to monitor. Just set up it. It will send you the message every time your website is down. And it's free tools, it costs nothing, but it helps you to prevent any unpleasant situation when you lost your marketing budget. Also, it makes sense if you use a website like WordPress, just to make sure that you have a backup system, because we had a problem as well when just our hosting lost all data. all our website was dropped because they had problem in the hosting provider. So luckily we have the backup system, and we could renew our website relatively really quickly, which is it couldn't imagine how painful it would be to rebuild everything from the scratch. And yeah, main thoughts, what I would like to share, it's keep an eye on your sales, add another salesperson as soon as possible if you have a sales team, right? Because if you have a couple of sales, then you're not dependent on one person, and they start to they like competition, so you can, we put the dashboard for all our sales team, see the result of other salesperson, and they start like small competition between each other, trying to sell as much as possible, which is also good for the company. If you're not at the marketing, not good with the traffic, with the marketing, I would recommend you to find someone who can cover this, either hire in-house marketer or find a partner, as I did, because still it was one of the best decisions I made. And without my partner, I know that I probably dropped this business after first or second the crisis, because it's hard to scale when you're alone. And build a team of the people who really are passionate about the product. And because I don't like I'm not the big fan of the hard management. So I would really like for my people to be able to find in this company the job that they really like, that drives them. So, and I believe that every team member in my team, that they doing what they are best at and what they really like. And and last thing, maybe automate everything you can. Yeah, because definitely if you want to scale, you need to grow your team, but it's also always tricky, because to scale you need to spend more, but if you spend more, you become less profitable. And then, okay, what should I do? Should I then fire people? And it's always, like this. So then you invest in team that you makes more money or not, but but this is something you really need to invest, unless you can automate everything and it's make everything, the less problematic. Because if you have right process, if you can build a system, so you don't need like many people, and this is a good way to think about. And last thoughts, don't afraid to create something new. I mean, if I think about myself like 5 years ago, when I started when I decided to start online courses, I couldn't imagine that I could get to this level that that I am right now, with a great team, with so many great products. And everything started just in my imagination. I just wanted to share my experience with other people. I just wanted more people start working in this marketing automation stuff, because this is something that I still really like. And I believe this is profession of the future, because all businesses need process optimization, process automation, because it's help business scale. And this is important, that we build products for people, with people. So it's important to communicate with the prospect, with the students, with the customers, with the team. And this is help you to build the right product and send the right message to the right people. And I hope this information was helpful for you. And online course can be game changer, as it happened for me, because first of all, it started as a hobby, as a way to find the like-minded people, as a way to find the community. But still, now we built a quite good business, and we're growing, and I have a awesome team. So this is something really changed my life at some point. And I hope you enjoy during this process. So thank you. And if you have any questions, or if you need any help with the launch your courses, or maybe just need some recommendation about the tools, about the funnels, I will be glad to share the information with you. You can reach out to me, and I will help as I can. Thank you. We'll be glad to answer any question if you have.
Max, thank you. Thank you for showing us your ways, tech, and techniques that led you and your transformed team to what you got for the moment. Really interesting and valuable information. So, and as we are speaking about creating and scaling online courses, let me take the opportunity to add a couple of words about Sendpulse online course builder. You can create, sell, and promote online course using our integrated marketing tools. With the course platform, you can create courses of any format, video, audio, and text lessons and files, and the final test to confirm successful completion of the course. Our platform is simple and intuitive, so you can start creating courses and developing your marketing and sales strategies in no time. And for students, it's so easy to use too. I use the platform almost every day, and it's really user-friendly, and I enjoy all the processes I have to do there. So, about landing pages and registration forms, they are included too. You can promote your course with the help of standalone web pages. Dynamically generated landing pages for each course are created automatically based on your existing data. And you can add a registration form to enable users to enroll and pay for your course. Also, you mentioned CRM, and it's included here too. All the data you gather, guys, on your course landing page will be automatically added to your Sendpulse CRM system. So this means that you will be able to guide and support your clients and at all times, and fully automate your communication with them through email, SMS, and chatbots. So it's so convenient too. And I'll add about a couple of words about supported payment systems. So it's possible to integrate payment systems so that participants can pay for your courses after logging in their personal accounts. And you can integrate several payment systems depending on your preferences. So you can see their logos here on the slide. And another thing I wanted to mention is multiple communication channels. So here you can interact with your audience using their preferred communication channel, like WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Telegram, through chatbots, and you can send email, SMS, web push, and Viber campaigns. All of this is included to Sendpulse platform. In fact, that's not all. So you can invite an instructor to curate the learning process. You're able to create tests to assess students' knowledge. Also, the feature that I really like is certificates of completion. If a student successfully passes your course, their downloadable certificate will be displayed to them automatically. So, and each course certificate includes a person's name, course title, and completion dates. A few of the features you'll enjoy are content copy protection. So important nowadays. So promo codes, web push notifications to students, and possibility to divide your students into groups and assign different groups to relevant teachers. It's important to mention that if you are just starting with the platform, you can leverage all of that for free until you reach 200 students. And moreover, if you are not a Sendpulse user, you are given a $15 coupon for platform features. I hope you will enjoy the platform as much as I do, and I wish you the best of luck with your courses, guys. So that's all from my side, and I suggest of answering questions, guys. If you have any questions, please text them to the live chat. We still have several minutes to answer. And I can see the question from Mary Rose about the price. Max, how did you determine the optimal price point for your courses as you scaled?
Yeah, so about the pricing, we actually started with a lower price, and then every time we just they make higher because we bring more value, we provide more, best product, we provide more services. So we started with the 3 plans. At the beginning, it was like 200. The cheapest one was the 200, I believe, and the most expensive was the 1000. And then right now we have a 4 different tariff plan. The cheapest one is 300, and the most expensive is 2000, which is the personal work with me. And so we just start, they increase the price, and we see the also conversion. And another point of increasing the price for us is ability to give a discount, because previously for 1.5 years we didn't provide any discounts. It was my strict position, because I didn't want to to underestimate like the product. So we just always give more value, and but then still we test it and understand the people like discounts, and this is something that can make them make the purchase. And so we just increase our price to 20 or 30%, but this is something additional that allow us to give additional discount at the end of the month, or get some campaigns. Yeah, so we just iterate, add some prices, see results, and if it's still working, people still buying at this process, it means that good that we provide great value. And yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. I have a couple of questions too. Can I ask you about what key investments do you think are crucial when scaling online courses?
Key investment? You
Key,
mean
key investments? Yeah, maybe I don't know. A team, maybe some specialists, automated platforms. What do you think? What the most important?
Yeah, so I forgot to mention the financial model, probably because I was preparing this slide, but looked like I missed this one. So I would say in our model we have a 30% of our spend. It's on a team, 30% on the traffic, 10% is other stuff like platform, technical stuff, some testing, some hypothesis. So do some A/B tests, some additional hiring, and then 30% is the margin of the business. So I would say keep this keep these main numbers. This which allows you to, because if you want to sell more, you need the more people, more spent on the marketing. So sometimes it's more on the spend on the marketing, sometimes it's more to spend on the team, but we try to keep it almost on the same level. Also it's important to take some consultation. We in every direction, in the sales, in the marketing, in the product, we always take some one-to-one with the expert in this niche, because you cannot to build expertise in all possible direction. So we just cover in-house the main part, but also some additional we just hire experts for, I don't know, few hours, 10 hours consultation, and they help us to build the process, to make the right things. And investment also, it's personal energy of the founders, because I noticed that when I'm emotionally down, like it was half a year ago, I wasn't able to create any content, like any video, any piece of content for 4 months. And it resulted also in the in the sales as well. So this is also important to for founders, for main drivers, to to be in the good mood, to understand what you're doing and why you're doing, because you bring your energy to the team, you invest your energy to the team, and like what energy you give them, they give it back as well. So this is probably the most, like the biggest one.
Okay, thank you. Absolutely agree. Okay, and I suppose it will be the final question. What advice would you give someone who is just starting and hopes to scale their online courses similarly?
Yeah, it depends if you have already, if you launched already, if you have an audience. So the easiest way probably to start doing some expert content, be invited to some community with your target audience to share some great content. But also another way, easy way that we did is just build simple funnel, as I showed on the first slides. Just one video explaining your offer, your product. Test 3, 5, 10 advertisement creatives to make sure that you can get leads with a with a normal price, and test the offer. So if you test 5, 7 different advertisements, you see which one is working the best, and then you find out which offer is working the best for your target audience. Just to scale this one, build a product around this offer, and then step by step, just add additional funnels, additional steps which allow you to grow.
Okay, thanks a lot. So we are going to conclude. Guys, follow Sendpulse social media. Let's stay in touch. Once again, Max, thank you for sharing your ideas, tips, and insights. Thank you, everyone, all for joining us today. We appreciate your time. Stay tuned to our social media accounts for updates on future webinars and other online events. It will be great to see you again. Goodbye,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you for having me.